don't think so.
Sure.
Yeah. Nice.
Test, test, test. I think we are back. All that to say that, of course, you are awaiting that sword to be brought to you by Vulcan. You guys have spent some time now in Mitros, and Yanni was able to, well, go on a little bit of an educational, let's just say, visitation trip throughout the academy, visiting a couple of the different classrooms within it, and educating the young wizards and acolytes that are there now on the ways of magic, and how Yanni, this street urchin, was able to figure that out on his own without any guidance. Well, with a little asterisk. Now, during that time, Lyra and Lyra and Yanni ended up going shopping. We spent a good amount of time in Agalius, who was able to reinvest the gold that you had given her so far into some new purchases, which you guys speedily bought up as well. Now, there was, of course, the big moment of last session, which was Brissa receiving a beautiful gift. A beautiful gift that may have had just a little bit of an ulterior motive. As you opened this box, Brissa, you saw that inside lay the thing that you certainly wanted. Specifically, let's just say it was a spear of familiar nature of a commander, Gaius, that you had recently slain. Lightning that was still kind of like embossed into it. As you touched it, however, it functioned like a portkey, teleporting you away from the temple. Well, not the temple, the palace that you were in. And into a throne room far away. A throne room befit for a titanic king. There, you saw a young, strapping Titan step forward. Dark, handsome hair, making Lyra swoon, though she wasn't even in the scene. And you get to meet
All of David's bad guys are hot.
And as the individual stepped forwards, he made it clear that he wanted to kill you in honor of his father, Sidon. this giant figure, was then, however, put in his place by his daddy. Sidon, stepping forward, seemed pretty ready to also slay you. But Urseth, maybe through sheer dumb luck or saying the right things, you're able to hold Sidon's hand, who then decided that if you were to die, you would die on the battlefield. You pitched the idea of a summit, that maybe there is a way to have peace on Thylea. Sidon seemed, let's just say, not necessarily convinced that that was possible, but set some conditions. Maybe, in his eyes, conditions that are insurmountable. The first was to give reparations to the Gigants, his people who had been brought to the brink of extinction by Estor and the other Dragonlords some 500 years back. Furthermore, you would have 3 days to get as much of a donation and other offerings and tithes from the people of Mitros and Astoria so that they would give back to the Gigants the riches that they had stolen from. Furthermore, as a second condition, optional as it is, where he does not necessarily believe this will be possible, he wants to have a festival denouncing the memory of Estor, denouncing him for the war criminal and butcher that he was, to burn the effigy of the greatest of the Dragonlords, and to make sure that history remembers him as Sidon sees him, a person not worthy of me. If you were able to accomplish this within the next few days, Sidon has agreed to meet under the oath of hospitality and hear your proposals, to argue whether this is even a possibility or something that is fated to fail. We left it off as Estrella ended up disappearing with Chandris, the former priest of Lutheria who became a turncoat and helped you slay Gaius. And Bursa and Rhodus going towards Acastus and his dragon training to learn a little bit on the battle, the aerial battle that, of course, the new Dragonlords are committing in, and potentially trying to sweet-talk Acastus, the great-grandson of Estor, to be, or grandson of Estor, to be okay with the consequences of denouncing his own flesh and blood, the person that arguably got him his kingship in Mitros in the first place. Anything that you guys wanted to add before we delve back in?
Lyra didn't buy anything.
Yanni bought all the things.
Yanni did buy all the things. Turns out Yanni's actually a loot goblin, not a hagling.
Yanni's a spell goblin. Spell loot goblin.
But okay, so nothing else that you guys wanted to add that we should add to that? All right, then let's delve back in. As we pick it back up, we're actually going to go back in time just a little bit. Because after the ship, the Ultros, had set, anchor within the docks, and everyone was jubilant and celebrating the many, many accomplishments that you guys have now been able to rack up. Your fame certainly is increasing every single time you come back to your port city. Estrella, Chandris kind of comes up to you and says, my darling, if I may call you this, I have had a long time without doing anything fun. Why don't you and I go do that instead? Let the smelly people do all of the things like carrying things, and all of the people who are very into doing the thing, do the thing, and we just have a little bit of a relaxing day.
What did you have in mind?
Well, I know this absolutely amazing spa. Come with me. And he leads you down the Stygian row. As you guys walk by, there's certainly people who recognize both of you. And you can see that there is a little bit of confusion. It has certainly become pretty well known at this point that, you guys are pretty opposed to Lutheria. Chandris is known as the High Priest of Lutheria, and so some of those looks, with just even your passive perception, you are absolutely catching on to that. You realize that there are people who are kind of like talking. It's like, oh, this is weird. They're being seen together. It's kind of like walking through the high school halls when you're kind of like the popular kid and you're hanging out with a kid that is just maybe adjacent to that. Different groups. Let's put it that way.
Your camera crapped out again, David.
Oh, yay! With that should be fine.
Honestly, I had just assumed you turned it off.
Nope. This is fantastic. I don't know. In any case, as you end up walking towards the place, Chandra seems to be noticing these looks, but he is not necessarily perturbed by them, or at least, he's not letting it show. As you get to the place, you haven't been there, though the rest of the group would remember it as the bathhouse that you first visited with Kyra. As you go in there, Chandra is not incredibly modest. He lets the ropes that he has slide off of his body, and there's a fairly lithe, not very muscular body that kind of, presents itself underneath. As he steps into the water, the hot water kind of starts to percolate there as he's just like, yes. Oh, this is much better. Have you ever had a hag massage? Not a hag massage. I've been around Yanni too much. Halfling massage.
No.
Oh, it's wonderful. You take halfling children and they walk upon your back and forth, back and forth. But they have a lot of dexterity, but they're so small that their little feet don't really hurt you. It pops your spine in all of the right places. I love it so much.
Wait, halfling children? Where?
Oh, yes.
Have you had this massage before?
Oh, it is, it's perfectly normal. There is nothing weird with it, I promise you. Their mothers get very well compensated for it, and nothing untoward happens to them. It's just, they're so little.
Oh.
So little.
Oh, I see. So they're not like slave children. Forgive me, but I don't know.
Oh, no, we would never. Oh, no. Slave
Thylea
children.
does have a bit of a reputation.
No,
Okay.
no slave.
Oh, great. No, I've never had one.
We maybe need to be, careful how we do these things now. Like, it is true. We have engaged in such things before, but we are past this now. We have moved on, don't you think?
I think you have moved on. I'm not sure about we.
Oh, come on. You know that we have... Okay, maybe we have a lot to talk about. Why don't you join me in the water? You tell me a little bit about, what you would like to know about me, and I tell you a little bit about what I would like to know about the group, and we take it easy. I have been cooped up in a military camp for so long now. I'm just so tired of this. Let's take some time for us.
Astrea will just kind of like gather the bottom of her, like, I don't know what she's wearing. Like, she's not wearing very much to begin with, but anyways, she's like with the bottom of whatever gown she's wearing and stick her feet in and then just kind of like smile at him. So what would you like to know?
Well, for one, I would like to know, you are the daughter of the Oracle. How long did you know about the prophecy before the mighty Oracle told everyone else?
So my passive insight is 19. I would just like to make an insight check to what is his vibe? Do I feel like he's trying to find out like sneakily information?
Go for it.
Or do I feel like he's genuinely curious? Okay. Yep. Nope, that's initiative, not insight. Sorry about that.
Close enough.
24.
As you check into it, he's kind of sleazy. There's certainly a little bit of that slickness to the way that he approaches these things, like, inviting you into the water and stuff like that, to kind of like put you in a less defensive position in your mind. You've seen those techniques before. Your mother has employed them many a time before. And there is something about the way that he employs that does tell you, indeed, like he first and foremost, beyond even everything that has happened with Lutheria, he seems to have been someone who has always been very good at manipulating things that he. So you kind of sense that about his demeanor. You're not, obviously it's not like a, oh, this is clearly his intent, but you do get the sense that indeed he is one of those people that you engage with in life that always have an ulterior motive. There's never just a true, genuine, I just do this because I like you. There's something in it for me.
Chandras, let us be plain with one another, shall we?
Of course.
I don't require all of this. Just ask me what you would like to know, and I will tell you. Really, what you would like to know.
Make me a persuasion check.
13.
See, what I would like to know, above all else, is truly, did you know that all of this was going to happen for anyone else? Did you, as the daughter of the Oracle, know that these individuals would come? That they would kill one of the most powerful allies to the Arisian Empire? Did you know that you are going to become entangled with the fates themselves? Are you manipulating this to a much higher degree than anyone else in this party thinks that you are capable of? Because, let me tell you something, Estrella. I can see the capability in eyes. I can see you watching everyone from the corners and playing the dumb little naive thing. Or maybe not playing. Whatever you do it well. So, I'm curious. What game does Estrella, daughter of the Oracle, play? Maybe you're not the pawn, but the queen. And if I am to be a bishop of yours, I need to know your longing. Queen?
Are you asking me if I am a mole for Sidon? Is that what you're asking me?
If you're a what for Sidon?
A mole.
A mole?
A double agent,
I think
as it were.
that for some reason Sidon, well, not for some reason, he loves his spawn very, very, very much. And as part of that, I think that you are in a weird position. You hold the same potential that your mother does. Your ability for portent thinking, for portent seeing, is something that Sidon would certainly appreciate. At least this is my theory, my guess. So, I'm wondering whether you saw some of these things, much like your own mother did once upon a time, and now you're capitalizing on it at the right times. What game are you playing? Like you said, you can be straight with rank.
Perhaps my mother saw all of this. Perhaps that is why she kept me locked away. I had not seen the world until I went on my first voyage with this group. And I was naive. I am a quick learner.
So, what is it that you want then, if you did not see this coming? But you must realize the potential at your fingertips. You entangled yourself with the fates, as I said. You have the attention of Sidon himself. You aim to kill Luteria, goddess. You're being celebrated by the people of Mitros like the second coming of the Five. So, what is it that you want, Estrella?
I want the people to be able to choose who they worship. I want Sidon to help us kill Luteria. I want him to take his rightful place. And then I want to never, ever adventure again. I want to find a small cottage somewhere, perhaps grow some vegetables,
vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
With all the power that you have, the prime position that you find yourself in, you want to become a lowly farmer, girl?
Does it not sound peaceful?
I guess it sounds boring, if you ask me.
Well, it is not for you then, but it is for me. And I'm gonna splash water on him.
Oh, stop it, you. Prestidigitates the water off of himself, immediately looking splendid again. Now, get in the water already. There is no hydra waiting for you at the bottom of this, or it would have already gotten me.
You know what, Chandras? I like you. I really do.
I like you.
I have always liked you. But this has been a lot for me, and I think I need a bit of time alone. You know, it has not been easy. Killing Gaius was the look he gave me when we betrayed him, and I did betray him in my grandfather's name. Did not feel good. It was for good, but it did not feel good. And I think I just need to spend a little time alone.
Sure thing. I have a running tab on this place. Take your own room if you'd like to. I am going to take my time, though. Oh, and there is a wonderful little reading place that I highly suggest. There is a premium on privacy. Nothing untoward, nothing debauchery. For that, you might want to go to, something like Saren's Roost, but go there. You will be able to get quite the service. Just give them my name. They'll know. They'll put it on my tab.
Thank you. I'll keep that in mind.
Of course.
Enjoy your bath.
You go be alone now. I will enjoy. And he closes his eyes on the edge of the pool. We swivel away, and we actually go back again towards Brissa and Rhodus. Much, much, much later. Actually, the next day. Because so, Estrella, while they're role-playing this, you can decide why you were gone that entire day previously, and ultimately why you were gone that night. So as we go back into that, Rhodus and Brissa, you guys approach Acastus. And as you do, again, you see that indeed there are dragons flying up in the sky, like doing like these death rolls toward the ground, kind of snapping at each other playfully, and then pull out. Brissa, the thing that you notice immediately, being the person that you are, obsessed fangirl for dragons, where before you saw not quite half a dozen, you now notice they have 9 dragons, all adult-sized, practicing with one another. And you see Icarus sailing beautifully in the skies, his dark silvery scales reflecting. Upon his back is Acastus as they do a dive, and then like you see the wings spread out massively, just a half second before they would have crushed into the ground. Rhodus and Brissa, you both have to cover your eyes as the air just gets displaced, wind kicking up as the dragon lands before you. You see the dragon kind of sniff in the air around you and keeps a lookout as Scylla is kind of like looking from around the corner, like trying to look a little bit small compared to that. As that happens, let me also get their tokens out.
I'll just lean over and say to Brissa, don't they make you a bit uneasy? There's something about them just not meant to be tamed.
I mean, they look awesome. You know, the only part that worries me is that they grew up so fast, so it makes me think that they used that potion and they made them a little bit crazy, right? You know, that's the only part that like worries me.
Mm-hmm. These are
Well, Matt, always my favorite Dragonlord to be.
Castus swings off of the dragon. You can see he's wearing pretty damn well-made breastplate. There's like multiple javelins that are in like a perfect little holster on the side of Icarus. You can see Icarus has also been equipped with bronze kind of like plating, like barding upon the dragon itself, which seems kind of redundant, but certainly adds another layer of protection. As Acastus approaches, he does have the wreath on, and he looks upon you with a smile, also going for the very like forearm handshake for both Brissa, and then turns towards you, Rotus.
Ah, and you and I have not had much time to talk with each other. Rotus, yes.
It is Rotus, yes. I'm sure my... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm sure my reputation precedes me as a
Of
member of the
course
Light
it
of
does,
Thylea.
of course it does. You know, I'd always wished Valos and I would have had a little demigod running around here. Wish he would have been something like you. Strong, stalwart. You know, I think you do your family proud. The example that you have set. There are so many, and I don't say this with intent of disregard. There are so many demigods, according to the reports that run around, that could make a claim to be Rotus's offspring. But I think it is clear.
Gods certainly get around.
I wasn't going to put it that way, but that is a not incorrect way of putting it. I think you truly show what the son of a god should look like. I think you're making not just your father, but also Historia, Thylea proud. You should be proud of yourself.
And Mitros, hopefully.
Oh, that is to be seen. I sense opportunity in the air, or am I getting too old for these things?
Well, we always... Oh, no. Well, certainly not. No, absolutely not, I guess.
I mean, according to Valos, you usually only skip the line when you need something, so...
Was there a line? I mean, we didn't mean to cut. Like, you know, we can go wait in line. We're perfectly fine waiting.
I mean, I don't see Lyra with you, so I don't think it will happen immediately.
Okay. But yes, we did, come to kind of, have a discussion with you if you had a few moments and, kind of like ask you a few things. Did Valis already kind of like talk to you and fill you in?
Oh, I've been much too busy in, engaging with the practice.
Good.
He kind of looks at you. I cannot call this off immediately. Do all my, centurions this. He kind of whistles as you see one of the centurions kind of jogs over. A very, very familiar one. I don't have the token at the ready anymore, I don't think, but you see the short-haired, semi-muscular winner, the person that actually ended up placing first on the Great Games, jog up towards you. Well, hello. Oh, it's you two! Hey, what brings you back to Mitros? I thought you were out adventuring, doing the Cerulean Sea, what do they call that when you go on a ship on vacation, you have a bunch of drinks, and she kind of winks at you guys, clearly meaning it. It's a joke.
Adventurers take breaks, okay?
Good, I'm glad you do. We should maybe go out for drinks later, yes? As Acastus just kind of smiles, and she seems to almost kind of realize, oh shit. Anyway, apologies, Your Highness. We're in the middle of drills. What can I do for you?
Spirit, it's okay. Why don't you take a break?
She almost looks like shocked, crestfallen. She goes, did I do something? I did everything under the time that we were like,
You're completely... I would like Brissa to experience light upon a fully grown dragon. If you don't mind, she would take your mount and we would actually fly to the Eyrie.
I was looking forward to that. But of course, there's nothing wrong with that.
She kind of gives you a look, Brissa.
It's kind of like
I won't be jealous, Brissa.
I mean, Sila can come. Right? You can Sila, fly with us, just alongside.
Oh, Yeah, I'm sure that our dragons can fly a little bit slower for yours, so that you can catch up, of course.
Thylea understands. You know, she's just not grown up quite yet. She's fine.
All right. Well, it is actually a two-seater. What we have designed in the saddle is a team of attackers. So someone from the back can throw javelins or cast spells, while the rider can just focus on the aerial combat, which is, of course, what we've been practicing. Would like to speak more in the eerie, if you would be so kind.
Yep. So Rhodas can come too then.
Is that an invitation to ride on a dragon?
Yeah.
You're like a Rhodas. Pat him on the back.
What is going through Rhodus' head when that invitation is proffered?
I could walk there. It wouldn't take me that long. I don't know where they're going. I could start now.
The Erie is about 20 miles north.
I could walk there.
And we could probably have him carry you in a claws if you want to do that instead.
Oh, there is no need for anything like this. The
I suppose a saddle is better.
Quite secure, yes. All right.
He whistles again as he touches that little wreath crown that he has, and it's almost like a thaumaturgy spell is just completely just carrying that whistle far wider than it has any right to. As you see the dragons immediately kind of stop their fake combat, starting to circle around and sent down on the ground. You walk to the beautiful copper dragon. You see its scales are massive, as large as your hand in places. As you run your hand along, kind of peers over its shoulder towards you. Brissa and Rhodus, both of you guys make me animal handling checks with advantage because of your respective backgrounds.
Oh god, why is animal handling had to be wisdom? Alright.
Nice.
Alright, I'll take it. Natural 20 minus 1.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
Okay.
Makes sense. It makes sense for Brissa. Rhodus,
Did my roll not happen?
oh, you should have had. Yeah, you should have had. Well, you still have disadvantage because of your
My blind roll still turned on, sorry.
and blind roll. Yeah, so you got a 9 on that first roll, just so you know.
Okay.
Rhodus, you as the bestiary kind of look around and you look at these beasts and you realize that dragons are truly not just apex predators, they're apex mortals. The more and more you consider that, I mean, they seem to be able to manipulate objects. You see some of the dragons actually starting to unstrap the barding themselves as they're starting to take it off and drop it down. Some other ones are picking up barrels, almost like little mugs, and start drinking him. And there's just this thought that occurs to you, is dragons are as smart, if not smarter than us. Dragons have been known to cast spells. They can manipulate objects with their claws. Holy shit, a whole society of dragons would be able to just annihilate anything else. It is good that they are so solitary. It's just that calculus that is kind of keeping you incredibly just anxious. Brissa, especially with the thing that you kind of mumble to Rhodus before cast this properly, you pay a lot of attention to the physicality of the dragons, to the way that they handle. And you, Alex, certainly know the way that a puppy, when it fully, especially those ones that grow extremely large, way too fast for their brains to really be able to catch up. You do notice how the paws sometimes seem to just kind of flop, and they're very playful, and you can see that riders sometimes back up and say, "Hey, oh, whoa, 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 whoa," kind of handling them and trying to you hear them whispering to them, and the dragons are extremely playful, significantly more playful than you would have expected adult dragons to be. And in the back of your mind, you chalk that up as another indicator that your theory might be accurate. As you guys both saddle into the beautiful copper dragon, the leather is beautifully, freshly made saddles. They are a little bit hard still. They haven't really been ridden in yet. And as you guys strap yourselves in, Rhodus, maybe there's a little bit of sweat starting to run down your temples. It's shit. Maybe it's not too late to back out of here as all the dragons start taking off, and Brissa, yours is the last one. It seems to almost kind of look over its shoulder. You can see that little bit of a smile spread across, but it waits for your command.
Brissa doesn't know the command. Just go. You know, like so like rains.
As just like go. The dragon just takes off into the air. All of you guys start circling and then immediately move into a formation with one another. Acastus is at the top. It seems like that your dragon was meant to be right beside Acastus anyway, and as you kind of like fall in line there, you guys are flying with one another next to each other, and it's just this beautiful breeze. Indeed, it gets extremely cold extremely fast. You can feel the pressure in your inner eardrums immediately kind of go up, and Acastus kind of yells over the wind again, you know, almost like with a loudspeaker with this thaumaturgy spell.
Yawn! And try to swallow. It will help with the pressure.
Brissa will try, and you know.
For shits and giggles, why don't you guys both give me Constitution saving throws to see if you guys have that? Like, do you guys ever have that after flying, where it's like one of the ears just stops working?
Yeah.
Alrighty. You guys fly through, and, you know, for the most part, Rhodas, there's a little bit of almost like tinnitus that you kind of start hearing over a while, but Brissa, you fly further and further. You guys start to fly up towards the clouds themselves as the dragons
Less high.
get more and more. Listen, this is the real chillax good grass, man. This is the stuff that gets you into the stratosphere. No, but as the
The
dragons
only time I've ever said less high.
as the dragons climb ever higher and higher, you guys actually pierce through the clouds. Breathing gets hard. It does feel indeed extremely cold now as you guys are flying. Acastus again says,
One thing that our mages are currently trying to figure out are pieces of equipment that guard us against the cold. We have,
and he kind of holds up a little ring that seems to have like some fur underneath it.
we have rings that protect us against the cold. I apologize, I forgot to mention that.
It's a little cold. You know, shout over it.
I'll like fake laugh back at him like, ha ha ha.
But you guys fly on as then suddenly Acastus kind of whistles again and all the dragons in formation start diving. You pierce through the cloud cover once more and start to circle down towards what seems to be a derelict ruin in the middle of the mountains there. And as you guys find your way circling down towards it, you can make out a couple different things there, but of course this is going to be of course it's you two. Go ahead and give me a history check, please, both of you guys.
Wow.
Is it related to dragons?
It is related to dragons. You do have advantage, yes.
All right.
Oh my god, just nat 20.
There
See,
you go.
I'm just trying to get all of those out, so by the time you guys, choose to fight Lutheria, they're all out of the back. That's what I'm looking for. Anyways, Brodus, as you're just like flying downwards. Brissa, you remember reading of the Eyrie. The Eyrie was one of the places that the Dragonlords had built as a training ground. It was where the dragons were roosted. It was the place where the instructors would not just mentor the dragons, but also the future generation of Dragonlords. It has now fallen apart. Vines and other creepy crawlies are just completely covering it. However, as you guys set down upon that platform that you guys are on, you can see that there are these interesting, weird metallic constructs. They seem like cylinders that kind of get broader towards the end. You can see that there are these weird glass orbs kind of fitted onto the top and the back. Acastus points towards one of them and says,
and these are glasses of wide looking. The terms for them have been kind of lost to time, but we've been calling them looking glasses. With this, you can actually see the dragons fly and study their behavioral patterns to try to give them feedback when they land again.
Oh yeah, that sounds like super useful.
Yeah, I've been, I've been coming here a lot to think, to try to ruminate on what the future of the Dragonlords will hold. I've been thinking about starting a proper academy for the future Dragonlords. Maybe call it something like, I don't know, different terms have been flowing through my mind. Maybe something like top tooth. Something like
The academy would be called Top Tooth?
I mean, maybe. I mean, it's, we'd be on top because we're on the air a lot, and, the teeth are kind of something that they could really... It just shows the maybe top claw. Top claw sounds nice, too.
Yeah, maybe. I like Top Claw better than Top Tooth, but
Top claw is maybe a little bit better. I agree.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes. So,
Rose comes hobbling up.
Do you have a fear of
We have to
heights,
ride
Rhodes?
that back.
Oh, you will have to write back. There is no actual approach to the Eyrie itself. One of the best parts of it, in my opinion.
Maybe I'll be known as the first man to climb.
Well, anyways, welcome to my piece, my favorite piece, Thylea. And no, you do not have permission to tell Valus or anyone else, and we trust that.
I think that's perfectly fair. We're good at keeping secrets.
Good. So, what is the thing that you're glad that my wife has not told me yet?
Oh, I mean, I don't know about the word glad. We were hoping that she had kind of filled you in, I think.
You
a
much
little bit.
prefer that, actually.
Yeah, I'd much prefer. But, so I guess there's, kind of like a few things that we kind of wanted to talk to you about. That one, give you some news. We killed Gaius. I don't know if you had heard.
You see him kind of get introspective for a second.
Ah. I had heard reports, but they had not been confirmed yet. You're saying you did.
That we did.
Oh. Can you tell me why you did?
Well, I guess that it was kind of part of a plan in the long run of things, but I guess overall, we do seek to gain a peace conference with Sidon, and he has agreed to it on a few different, terms, that we would have to abide by. And then, we kind of did it as a show of strength, so that we can show them that, we do, possess, just, more means than kind of like expected, I guess, more than just like, like these little squabbling heroes, right? That he might think of us, kind of just that show of strength. And that was kind of like the first reason, and also to get revenge, right? I mean, he did kill a friend, so, kill Kyra. So that was, both reasons kind of. Kyra's probably actually the top reason, but, back to the Peace Summit. So, that's...
This is the important part. Now that that's out of the way.
Yeah. So we
Ronus
met
is
with
hiding
Sidon.
No, this is the good part.
We met- We met with him, and he agreed to, have that peace talk with us. There was a few terms that he would like, and he gave also a few repercussions, a few like good faith tokens, right? He gave us some orbs that would make perfect weather in the city of Mitros and its surrounding like fields, and for the city of Astoria. And Valus checked them, and they were, pristine. They were good. So which is really good, right? Because, I know that was an issue before in Astoria. But he would like us to, hold a festival to kind of commemorate and make repercussions to the Gigans for the riches stolen to them. And he understands that, it doesn't
There
have
was
to be...
nothing stolen from the Gigans. The Gigans were our enemies. The Gigans slew our people. We settlers, when we first came to this land, had to get every inch through blood, sweat, and tears. We tried to speak with the Gigans as equals, but instead they used our bones as toothpicks. What was done by the Dragonlords was the consequence of centuries of strife between our people. The Gigants were not slaughtered. The Gigants brought their own consequences upon their own heads.
I completely understand that, right? And, but in the end, right, I think the goal here is just to avoid war and to make peace. So if we have to, do a little fundraiser, so to speak, for the Gigans to help them rebuild somewhere else, then,
Reparations. Where would that stop? At what point would the Gigans finally say, oh yes, now we have had enough, now we are good? How long are we supposed to pay the Gigans for this consequence? It was a war, and they lost that.
And that is understandable. So Sidon agreed that, he can't demand too much, right? So that was part of, the talk that we had. And so he kind of agreed that, people can give what they can, right? They don't have to give everything. They don't have to, make, sell their firstborn or anything like that. But they spare what they can for the Gigans, as, just kind of like a token of, hey, we're sorry for, kind of what happened in the past.
I do not mean to sound ungrateful for what you have done. I have been trying to get Sidon himself to a table to discuss and debate these things, which is why I have spent years, both monetarily and time-wise, and effort into my relationship with Commander Gaius. Now that he is gone, he kind of spreads his arms wide.
I am sorry for that wasted effort.
What is
but he is willing to come to the table, right? That was his first demand.
What is
his second demand? We kind of had kind of like a two-part with this. Right, Redis. So what?
Exactly.
There's going to be a festival, and he wanted it. And I know you're going to be upset, so please just let me finish before But it is a festival kind of denouncing your ancestor Estor for the crimes that he did. Now I understand that he was a great dragon lord and everything like that, but I think even you have said that he was a little overzealous in some of his, slaughtering and, treatment of, others. So we were, he was saying that we denounce, some of his actions. He didn't say we were to denounce the Dragonlords, but denounce the actions of Estor, which I think could be, a show of good faith, and at the same time, if you raise yourself above what Estor did, so we had kind of come up with a plan for that one. As you see after this, we're going to go slay a dragon called Hexia. Rhodas, if you want to tell him a little bit about Hexia. And we were thinking you could come along with us, and, you don't really have to do too much, but, maybe you can kind of claim that you slew this great beast that not even Putor could potentially slay or find.
We would bring along a bard who we could relay the tale to make it as grandiose as possible.
Let's retrace your argument a bit here. You're asking for Metrosians to give up their well-earned coin for the benefit of a people who put themselves in harm's way by their own choices, to make reparations which may end up being an indefinite tithe that Sidon may enforce upon the city. Additionally, You are asking me to help fund, organize, and ultimately execute a festival that announces my grandmother. You want me to undermine the foundation and memory of the savior, people, Mitros, Nestoria, namesake of Historia, and even Eresia with their misguided ways.
Don't get me wrong, I don't want to do this. It is the only way to bring Sidon to the table.
We could ask Sidon to exclude Mitros from the agreement, and with it, it's protection from Sidon and the eternal perfect weather for our harvest, and we can move forward with other cities who are interested in that kind of protection.
I don't think we should exclude it, but I will say that he did only say that the tithe is going to be lasting 3 days, right? He never said it was an eternal tithe. So I did want to clarify that.
I
And
have been a politician for a very long time. I can tell you, certainty, that the second that we show even the smallest bit of willingness to do this, if we extend our pinky, they will take the arm.
I mean, we could make it part of the peace, right? I think, in the end, we are just looking to avoid a war, because I don't want that for the people of Mitros, right? And so if we have to do something for 3 days to try and get a peace talk to the table,
May I
think
play the demon's advocate in this?
Yes.
Have you not traveled across the cerulean, gathering your fame and strength? Have you not gathered gold and mighty magical items? Do you have 12 fingers?
I do. But
Okay.
have you noticed my muscles, right? Like twice the size of Rhodus's.
I mean, I only have ice.
A wild imagination.
I'm just teasing him.
You have done this in preparation for war. Why, after all these centuries of misery, when our people
Kind of looks awkwardly at Brissa, since you're a nymph.
have tried to make peace with the Fey folk of Thylea for so long, after we were punched into the dirt again and again and again by Sidon and Luteria, why are we trying to still cower and beg? You are prophesied. Bring an end to this. This does not sound like an end. It sounds like an and. Do the deed, Brissa. You are a Dragonlord. You are formidable. And so are you, Rotis. Between the two of you, you have the capability to vanquish the gods. To make this land ours, finally. To truly build a new, peaceful Thylea, where the Fey folk and the civilized races can finally coexist without having an agitator in the sky sending their bolts down upon both of us, stirring us into war again and again and again. So I ask you, as the person who have tried to make peace with Sidon and his forces for a very long time, why don't you silence the thunder once and for all?
I mean, I think it's because we have Estrella, right? And she really feels strongly about it, and at the same time we want to avoid bloodshed, right? I mean, if we do go to war, right? How many Trojans will end up dying, in the conflict, right? You're probably it's going to be a lot of people. Is there a guarantee that like that we are going to win? Like that's hard to say, right? I mean, given yes, we have done some pretty amazing things and things that I would never have thought to be actually possible. I would never have thought I would have had a dragon or anything. So yes, we've done amazing things, but there is always it's always a chance. There's no like guarantee that says we're going to win.
I know there is no guarantee, and I will be the first to admit that I did not see your potential. That little arena with that boar. I thought that you were upstarts who were trying to gain some fame with false promises. Over the past weeks, you have proved me wrong at every turn. I admit that I was not your fan. And call me a Bristy, I guess, because I am in your...
Sorry, guys, that is a very specific Alex joke because he's a huge Taylor Swift fan.
It's true. It's true.
So, what I'm trying to say is that I believe that you can slay this Titan. That would allow my wife and your family, except you, Otis, to finally overtake God's kindness, wisdom. Does not be a better for all Thylea.
I mean,
Okay.
Good.
Well, out of character.
Yeah,
He's
what's
very convincing. Acastus is convincing Rotus pretty hard, and Rotus is pretty predisposed to. He's just really playing into all the things that Rotus already believes or has been raised with his whole life. And we would still need to kill Lutherian things. It's not like this is like suddenly going to be like, oh yeah, now we can not fight anybody and everything's going to be okay. It's still like probably a ton of people are going to die and we're going to have to go kill Lutheria. And...
what is going through Brissa's mind with this? I mean, let's do an above the table, like actually explaining character thoughts here.
Brissa, I think she like looks up to Acastus, right? Like like he has the dragon and he had dragon first and everything like that. So she kind of like looks up to Acastus and she sees his points, but at the same time, right? She like she really like wants to like help Estrella do this, and she does also want to avoid a giant war. So I think she's definitely like being like, I mean that is true, right? But at the same time, it's like. She feels like she's already committed slightly, so she's pretty torn. She doesn't know what to do.
Both of you guys make me an insight check.
God, this is horrible.
all my checks with disadvantage still.
Yeah, it's rough.
We don't know. Got a 10.
Rotus, I mean that's exactly it. You feel the words that have resonated with the people of Thylea for a long time, because as much as the Gigants were brutally slaughtered, so have settler races. And for a long time, the whole sacrificing children, that has happened since the first day that Luthor asked of sacrifices. Sidon, which drowned settlements, crushed them under his thunderous boot, so to speak, when they didn't give proper tithe. There's part of There's a kernel of truth, not just a kernel. There's a flagstone of truth, what Acastus says, and maybe it's because you can feel the passion coming off of him. You kind of feel it as well. You know, the things that people don't want to talk about in the name of peace between peoples of Thylea, of the millennia of hurt, not quite millennia, centuries of hurt between. Now, Brissa, you do notice one thing, that Acastus is a skilled orator. As he said, he has been a politician for many a decade now. And with that comes also the ability to read people. As Rhodas kind of starts to kind of nod more and more along, he seems to talk towards Rhodas more and more. Though you don't really necessarily agree or disagree with the points, looking up to the man in the sake of how fascinated and how much reverence he has for the Dragonlords as well, deep down you do see that he is just latching onto Rhodas and sees that he has a little bit of supporter in.
Another thing Rhodas is thinking is, do I believe that Acastus is serious when he says that, like, after everything, everyone is going to be living in harmony, like, if we are able to kill him? Or do I believe that Sidon is actually going to keep his word? Like, who do I think is actually more likely to betray us or, like, the peace? And I just think that it's more like Acastus seems like he just, like, wants people to like him. Like, that's all he cares about.
It's true.
So as that kind of, Acastus is giving you guys a long moment of silence. He's not one of those people that is uncomfortable with silences. He understands the purpose of them. As that silence kind of drags on and you see the beautiful lands, the other ruins, the places where you can see the dragons, used to roost. You can see the other dragons flying around, playing with one another. Scylla just kind of watching them with big, big eyes. As that all goes on and he just has that pregnant pause waiting for you to answer. As it kind of draws to a point where you feel like you come to an answer for yourselves. What is that answer in your hearts? And then, what do you say, Castus?
Brissa still wants to try, so Brissa will be like, listen, I would appreciate it if you are, Brissa, as you would say, Bristi, then I would appreciate it if you would give us those 3 days. Help do what Sidon requests. You attend the summit. You make your own demands as well, right? Like the no ongoing repercussions, the no, continuing tithe, right? You are there and you have a say and a voice. And then, if the summit does not go well, and we cannot come to a peaceful resolution, I promise I will stick my spear in his heart. For you.
Will you speak an oath to this?
I will.
You asked the right person.
Listen, he's a politician. He understands this shit.
David sees the oath opportunities. He takes them.
Separate person in a very far place so Yanni can't say, oh, by the way, I was just coming back from the academy right at that moment. As
I'm perfectly content to sit back and let Brissa oath herself into oblivion if that's how she chooses to go.
I swear to you, Brissa, future Dragonlord under the banner of Mitros with the other Dragonlords, that I will not stand in your way to persuade the people of Mitros to give of their hard-earned coin in the pursuit of peace with Sidon. I also oath that you will be allowed this festival of sorts, in the name of open debate, that those who want to attend it may, those who oppose it are not required to. and that I will attend this peace summit of yours, should it happen. What say you?
And I swear to serve under the Dragonlords, and, if the Peace Summit does not resolve in a manner befitting to all, then I will hunt down Sidon and drive my spear through his heart.
Clasps your forearm. And you can both feel the the little hairs on your arms and neck kind of start to stand on end. Their oath has been spoken.
$30, $35? $36?
I think probably more like 50.
It's just the national debt at this point. But as you guys look at each other, and take in the beauty of this place one more time, he says,
I cannot say that I'm not a little bit upset with you. I've tried this for a long time, I should have killed Gaius myself. He's kind of a prick.
He was a prick.
he kind of reaches back, and as he does, he produces, just seemingly out of nowhere, he seems to have a bag of holding as well. It's 3 beautiful cups as he puts 2 into your hands, and then pulls out a little wineskin, pours it into those.
To the future of Thylea and the Dragonlords, guide them to a bright future.
Cheers.
Should pretend to drink because she doesn't drink, and just.
As Acasus kind of cheers, he does end up kind of like looking out, and you can see that he seems to now really start to think about, all of the implications of this stuff, and calculations are starting to go through his mind. Brissa, since you noticed that Rhoda seemed to kind of like start to bob his head back and forth, and starting to drink that Kool-Aid, how do you feel about that? The relationship within the party, the consequences of that, maybe the structure between Estrella and Rhodus' approach with that could, of course, be a little bit of a sticking point, let's call it. And how do you, if at all, approach that with him?
Before Brissa answers, I want to talk to Acastus. So, like, if he's just like sort of looking out, surveying things from the area, and I guess I'm fine if Brissa hears, but I want to tell him, like, I still have yet to speak to my father about this, and I expect that he will share many of the sentiments that you've shared with us today.
I do too. I've heard fantastic reports of Peter vanquishing many on the battlefield. If I am honest, I'm excited to see those days again. I do not thirst for blood. I just look at the thousands of Thylleans that have died in the span of this conflict. I admit that war will be brought to meet us and spill blood in the streets. It is nothing I eagerly seek. If we have to spend blood just one more time, so that we are free of this everlasting bloodletting, that is a sacrifice I am willing.
You might not love battle, or violence, but my father certainly does. So
I'm counting.
I'll need your help at the summit to reel him in. I'm sure that he'll respect your opinion and the things you have to say.
We have an interesting relationship, I should say. I have called him out for his mismanagement of Historian affairs, and that was not my place, but I figured from one monarch to another, some advice should be given. So He did not take that extremely well, and I was surprised to find his sisters come to his aid on this.
What's the princess's name that's running it now? Honora? Well, I'm glad that he's left it in Honora's hands now. It seems she is doing much better in that regard.
Your sister is a talented young politician.
I expect that she'll be joining us at the summit as well.
Suppose. Well, arrangements will have to be made for this, but yes. Yes, I think so. What of you? Do you see this summit as something that can actually bear fruit?
I think it's the one is what will determine the future of all of Thylea. For better or worse. If it's not the solution, then it's something much worse.
You know, as any young prince would, I courted potential future respective queens of Midlands, or of course, by marriage. And I have always been a man of efficiency. If this does not, as you call it, pan out, at least it will be that final conversation before you can finally cease your courting and move on to last honest conversation. Cheers to that. Holds up the cup again. Swig.
All right, now Brisa can answer.
Briss is fine with it. She's, she realizes Rhodas has his own opinions, and I mean, she also agrees with, Cassis that, Sidon's, can be a bit of a dick. I mean, with the whole stamping up villages and stuff. I mean, I think there's bloodshed on both sides, so, she realizes that, one side has to lose, I guess, in the end. But hopefully we can make it not, a bloody loss, I guess, so to speak. But yeah, she's just excited to do some dragon trading, I guess. So that's out of the way. That's what she was really thinking about the entire time.
Dragon trading.
Dragons.
Trading. All right, here comes a rocky.
If I make this oath, can we get onto the dragon?
Dragon.
Literally!
Alrighty. Indeed. Unless there's something else that you guys want to roleplay in the Rhodas, you watch miserably, maybe, in a very high up column as Brissa does climb back upon the dragon, and you guys go through flight routines. It is interesting. These dragon riders are practicing flighting information, trying to cover each other's backs from other aerial assaults. And as is explained to you later, one of the worries that Castus seems to have is that Sidon also has more dragons at his disposal. It appears that there have been dragon riders spotted, which of course makes him extremely weary. Additionally, and both of you have heard of this before, it is rumored that in the southern reaches of the Cerulean, the far, far islands, there are riders, giant, just enormous birds called rocks that traditionally have been trained and bred. Birds of war.
Well, dragons are better, so it doesn't matter. Who cares about a rock?
Are they rideable?
Yeah, I mean, everything is rideable if you have the right saddle for it, I guess.
Zebras
I don't
aren't very cooperative.
I don't want to be
They
flying. Never
don't
mind.
seem like it. Brodus, do you want to fly too?
No, I'm good.
You know what, Brodus? Make me a perception check with advantage. So if you hold Alt, it should just be a straight roll.
13.
Though you're not on top of a dragon riding around with a big stupid smile, as Brissa of course is, the thing that you keep an eye out for rather is what they're practicing for, which is there's always a flight of 3 dragons that attacks another flight of another 3 dragons. And it seems to be that they're practicing trying to get towards each other's belly or throat. And it seems like, they are certainly aware of each other's soft spots. So Rhodus, you care nothing for the way that a dragon moves outside of its weak spots. As with some of the glinting of the beautiful green forests below, you do see some of the bronze and silver dragons reflecting back, appearing green for a second. And your blood starts to boil a little bit. Your veins are popping out and starting to glow as you imagine taking the head of the green dragon. It's infernal.
Hell yeah.
As you go back towards, the city, you guys will spend some time. Oh my god, I have so many tokens. Some time, practicing, which ultimately the next morning, Estrella, during this entire time, you ended up clearing your head maybe, or maybe it got even more confounded with all of the bullshit that frankly has been going on, all of the things that have been tearing you into multiple different directions. Where did you end up going after you said goodbye to Chandras?
I guess it wouldn't make sense in the timeline that I thought out Lyra or Yanni. Okay.
Sorry, that one you're gonna have to retcon. Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Estrella is going to cast Commune.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. And she's gonna try to talk to the Fates.
Okay.
And her first question is about the history of this conflict. The true history of this conflict.
Let me look back towards the commune spell, the limitations for it, and then see how I can fuck with it to get some fun answers.
Nice.
So they do have to be yes or no questions. But if you think of them in a very detailed way, the fates can give you yes or no. So let's workshop this together. What is Estrella trying to find out about the true nature of this conflict?
Yeah, she's trying to discover the timeline because it seems to her that the native people of these lands were just living here, minding their own business, living here. It was their land. And some humans came and tried to take shit over. And then the Dragonlords came and tried to help the humans. And of course, the Geigens fought back. And of course, with Sidon and Thylea. And then the gods came down and sided with the Dragonlords. Is that about right? And they won to the Oath of Peace. Essentially.
You are an incredibly studious person. You put your nose in the books a lot. There's some stuff that is generally known. There's some stuff that only people that really care about history know, and there's some stuff that is lost to the annals of history. Make me a history check. This you cannot fail this. This is just to see how much more you might be able to succeed in this.
Can I guide myself? I got a 16.
With the help of the fates, yeah. Let's say, because I'm not giving you very detailed answers from the fates, go ahead and guide yourself on that. Oh, I think it's because if you make the check now and then it will ask, so you can just roll a d4.
Okay. Oops. 4.
Okay.
3. So 19.
Within 19, that there's the current era, which is usually called as CE, or the era of the oath, and there is also the era before that, DA. That generally speaking, and I don't want to make this too much of a lore dump, but the key highlights, and of course I'm looking at the timeline on the side, so that's why I'm gonna by the way, You know that the height of the Geigen Empire, and you know Thylea has existed for a long time. The races were built up, and you know that there's strife amongst the Titans once upon a time. You're not quite sure with the 19 on what exactly all occurred, though. You guys have now found out that there were many children of the original Titans, Kentimane and Thylea, and it appears that Lutheria and Sidon killed all the others. That has so far now become clear. How and why is uncertain. Though you now also know, for example, that Hypnos, the barge that Lutheria resides upon, is being pulled by one of these Titans, one of their brothers. You also know that about 2,000 plus, actually 2,500 years ago, that was the height of the Geigen Empire. That they were the most advanced, most amazing society to, up until that point, have lived upon Thylea. The works of craft and art that they were able to produce were magnificent. In fact, they were considered to be the ruling people of. It wasn't until about 2,000 years later, 24 years before the Age of the Oath, that the first Dragonlords arrived. In between that, you do know that many settlers washed up on the shores again and again and again. You do know with the 19 of the origin story of Thylea itself, that Thylea and Kentimane, the two originator titans, had escaped from some kind of conflict. At least that is what is being said. That Thylea was so tired, so worn of war with the other gods, that she decided to build something outside and removed from them, and give her life, that her body blossomed and became Thylea, the world, the continent that you walk upon now. Kentimane ended up becoming its eternal guardian. You know that the first war, as it's called, the war that ultimately led to the Oath of Peace, started about 14 years prior to its signing. You know that supposedly, which of course now is contradicted, some 2 years into the war, Sidon was said to have killed the last dragon. That while the Dragonlords, upon their draconic backs, were able to, push back and massacre the Geigens, leading effective eugenics, Sidon went around and killed the dragons one by one, because he understood that they were the most powerful things mortals had to challenge his rule on things. You know that 2 years after that, about 10 years prior to the Oath of Peace, the five gods appeared, helped turn the tide, and then 9 years later, Mitros, wife of Vulcan, mother of Pitor, Kyra, and Valis, ascended into the heavens, leading the other four gods to maintain what was ultimately known as the Oath of Peace. Since then, Mitros, the city, was founded a year after the signing officially. The Ultros disappeared some 2-3 decades after that. You know that after that, it became much more an internal strife, a cold war between the peoples of Thylea. That the settlers and the Fey races would war each other, though the gods never directly were able to. You know that Eresia and Mitros ended up fighting against one another, something that became known as the Eresian Campaigns. That Pitor became the king of Estoria about 170 years ago. And ultimately, that it wasn't until about 100 years back that Eresia officially ceased its campaigns against Mitros. But that this deep societal wound between Eresia and Mitros continues to this day. You know that Acastos has been, in charge for about 32 years now. So as you kind of you put all your things together, maybe you can go to the academy for a little bit as you kind of pull some history books. This is kind of like the overall view.
So, in Estrella's view, the people of these lands, the native people of these lands were just living here. They were taken over by people who just decided to take them over. The gods jumped on the bandwagon. And of course, the Titans were pissed. These people came in, overtook their lands, killed their people, and just assumed leadership. This sounds an awful lot like our own history, friends. And so I'm just making sure that before I like settle in and dig my feet in on this like perspective of Estrella, that's not incorrect. I mean, it's one perspective, obviously. I know there's other perspectives, but like it's like fundamentally historically not incorrect that that's what happened. Okay.
One way, absolutely, to look at it. Do you see
Right.
the terms manifest destiny in some of these scrolls? Maybe.
Oh man. Woof. All right. I just wanted to make sure that I like completely understood. Like I get it that Lutheria is like sacrificing children. We can't have that. That's not good. But I get that the Titans are pissed. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that was my whole purpose here because I just wanted to make sure I knew like my character's like true trajectory.
True.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what I was doing.
colors. Sorry.
That's what I was doing. She's just making sure she knows where she stands in all this.
Do you still want to commune with Fates?
So if it's a yes or no question, I do. And I think I would have asked them like 3 questions that we kind of just went over, right? Like, yes or no, is this true? The Geigans were just living here peacefully, the Titans ruled the world, and the damn bitch-ass Dragonlords just came in and tried to take everything over.
Whoa.
And those were
It's technically a 3-parter
the
question.
oppressive Dragonlords?
So as you ask your question, you can see that little bit of a crown kind of suddenly, like you can see the strands come off of it as it seems to almost unravel them up, and you can see a picture that does kind of represent what you're talking about, but it also shows Geigans, brutally subjugating other races. You see that, it's in any situation where peoples live next to one another, and there's any kind of power and resource to be gained or fought over, it will occur. You can also see that indeed Sidon and Lutheria seem to, like in one part of the kind of stitching that kind of builds itself together, you can see them like wash away a settlement, just completely destroying it, or washed upon the shore. But you also see dragon fire burn what looks like Geigen children as they're trying to run away from a village. Overall, this is going to be more of an this could go many different ways. Answer.
Yeah, everyone was wrong. Everybody handled it poorly. Okay. That's all. That's what she was doing.
You have 2 more
She's just
questions
like-
if you want to ask them.
I do, but yes or no? Does
Put your finger down.
Sidon know about the portal to... It's not hell. Is it what?
The Nether Sea.
The Nether Sea?
Well, I don't think it was the Nether Sea either. It was
Oh,
something else.
Sorry. You mean to Hades?
It was hell.
Yeah.
Hades, yeah. I was like,
does
it was
Sidon
hell, but it wasn't called hell.
know about the portal to Hades?
You see the strands unravel once again and seem to form themselves back together in a different loop. This time you can see the island of the Fates kind of stitched together, and then you can see the towering face of Sidon looking down upon it, the red eye piercing down with almost like a glow of red piercing down, but then you can see the loom seems to kind of like restructure itself on the island. There's almost like a dome protection around it, and you are able to interpret this as
Do you truly want to kill Sidon as you told us you did?
you see the loom come thread. slowly piece themselves back together. You see corpses. It's like in a Dante Inferno disco kind of art representation. Slowly starting to build a huge amalgamation of all of these dead bodies, centaurs, minotaurs, nymphs, humans, dragonborn, every type of people. As you can see, the mountain seems to build itself to a on which you can see Sidon reside. Behind them, see the figure of this woman look over. She suddenly summons forth, or like in the depictions, like she has her hand summoning gesture of like strings starting to. You interpret that as yes. The strands seem to kind of unravel themselves back into the mountain. What's going through Estrella's mind?
What's going through Estrella's mind is that she hates this. She doesn't know who to trust. Everyone has their own agenda. What seems like it should be very simple and straightforward, just do the right thing, is not what people want to do. People want to be in charge. People want to have power. And she doesn't really know who to trust. She doesn't really even know, like, really what's right or what's wrong. And that's, like, what she's trying to figure out. I can get to the bottom of, like, what's right and what's wrong. And there's no clear right or wrong for her, I guess. So yeah, she's having a rough time. She's going through a rough time. Killing Gaius, like, the fact that Gaius was, like, so excited that she was joining their team, you know? And, you know, their team doesn't seem terrible to her. You know? I mean, Lutheria is, but, like, she's got all these brothers and sisters, and it's, like a vibrant, like, wonderful, like, I don't know. It's tough. And Gaius was really excited and just believed them on face value that she was coming to join. You know, that was tough. And then all of a sudden they just murk him. I don't know. That was rough. That was rough for her. So she's just having a rough time. Yeah. I think that's why she's just spending the rest of the time alone.
That's fair. Lots to divulge and think over. But we're going to take a quick break so that people who go to the bathroom can do so. And then we're going to pick it back up as at least part of the team is going to reconvene at the palace. And we're going to start the process. I'm going to turn this into a skill challenge of you guys trying to convince the people of Mitros to give these tithes and offerings in honor of the Gigans amongst everything. See you guys shortly.
Leave it to me. I'll handle it.
Not everyone falls under that, but okay. Anyway, see you guys soon. Bye.
Oh,
Alrighty, we are back, and let me make sure that we have all the audio inputs that we need. It appears we do. Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for the quick break for everything. Yeah, a lot's already happened in the first half. Some conversations were had with King Acastus about reparations paid to the Gigans and a celebration against his, great granddaddy, so to speak. Estrella, meanwhile, off in her own soul-searching, investigating the history of her land, and this land is her land. As you kind of are, getting maybe not closer, but at least further into investigating what feels about that conflict, gods, and the peoples. We pick back up as Yanni and Lyra have engaged in copious amount of shopping around the Ahura, but mostly, of course, with Agalia. Maybe Lyra was a little bit too distracted and focused on the many cats that were in Agalia's shop. But as you guys come out of it and ultimately get back to Palace, you notably notice that Brissa and Rhodas are still gone. However, Estrella seems to be currently engaged in some late breakfast, as you did end up choosing to spend the night at the place that Chandras had told you. As you guys meet up again, what do you guys talk about? What's going on? I mean, Yanni and Lyra, you guys can... I'll let you guys decide if you guys want to make an insight check to inform your roleplay there to see that Estrella certainly is in deep thought and maybe a little bit of like emotional turmoil. And Estrella, you can describe what that might look like.
You got it. Insight, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Still thinking about those cats.
Yep.
They were everywhere. There were cats everywhere.
there were.
Estrella, what does Yanni notice about maybe it's your posture, maybe it's just like your nonverbal communication, the way that maybe a smile comes a little bit slower, anything like that would kind of cue him off towards your internal turmoil.
Yeah. I mean, I think ever since the moment the betrayal happened, when they faced Gaius, I mean, she's just been... I don't think it's something that you would... I mean, even with a natural one, you would notice that she is trying to search for her feelings in all of this. So she doesn't want to be here anymore. She doesn't want to have to make this choice. It's an impossible choice. She's just having some breakfast, some traditional
Scrambled eggs.
breakfast. French toast.
Grapes and bread.
Of
Grapes and bread.
course.
Avocado toast.
Oh, okay,
and
yeah,
bacon.
Feta cheese.
Very popular in Metros.
Yum. Mhm. Well, where have you two been?
Stop it.
I think the better question is, where have you been?
Yeah, you're just picking at those eggs. You okay?
Well, sure. You know, this sucks.
The eggs?
Yeah, kind of. The eggs are bad as well. But I mean, this just is a terrible situation.
You're not wrong.
Enjoy wartime and fighting and political intrigue and all of that. Not.
I mean,
Oh, you weren't here, but honestly, I think in the last conversation I had, like 5 times I talked about how fighting was just exhausting. I do not like this.
Yeah. No, and we like die a lot, which is scary.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I've almost died like 3 or 4 times and actually died once.
Mm.
I mean,
And-
honestly, Estrella, I think you and I are the only ones that haven't just actually died. So if we could keep it that way. Ooh.
Right. Right.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah, I got
what have
2
you two
stone
been up
ones,
to?
too.
Does
Stop
that
it.
count as dying?
Bought new spells. I don't know.
When you were
No.
petrified, did you dream? Was it like just being asleep for a long time?
I just like it was like nothing happened. Like I came out of it and was like shouting apologies at at Estrella for having shot at her. Like it had just happened. And it had been like 3 days.
Where are Brisa and Rhodes?
That's also a good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
They were hanging around the palace. Gosh, I hope I can talk to them before they end up talking to Acastus. I want to
Yeah.
plant some seeds.
I definitely would like to be there because
Get some ideas.
I don't know how
Hold
well
on,
that
listen.
conversation will go.
I'm gonna cast Sending to Brisa. Hey, Brisa. I'm here with Lyra and Yanni. We're just wondering where you are. Do you know where Rotis is? Also, don't get the eggs. They're so gross.
I think it ended at "Don't get the eggs," which is still that's fair.
Yeah, you get the message across. Yeah.
Where are we when she sends this?
No, I'm just kidding. You guys are still training at the Eyrie. So you are flying on a massive dragon, doing like these barrel rolls and crazy maneuvers, and suddenly you just hear Estrella, "Hi, Brisa." Just like, oh shit.
Estrella just hears back.
Be like, dragons flying, hanging out with Rhodes and Acastus, super fun. Dragons are awesome. Awesome dragons. Oh, turn left. left.
I think Brisa just told me she was flying on a dragon with a Castus and the Rhodes, which I wish I knew where because that is very hilarious.
Can you insight check ascending? Because I don't think Rhodes would fly on a dragon.
Oh, because of right.
Oh, he did.
What?
I mean, I don't think I could
No.
I could try to see what they're doing. You
We'll
know,
just,
like,
we could just take her word for it. I'm sure if she's on a dragon, then that means everyone's on a dragon. To Brisa,
come to
I'm
think
sure.
of it, I don't know if she told me Rhodes was there. But I did ask about Rhodes, so I don't know if she told me he was there, to be fair.
So, what's the over-under that they've already said / done something stupid with regards to Acastus and this impending what we're going to need from him?
If they're flying on a dragon
Help me God, if she swore an oath.
with a Castus, yeah, if she's flying on a dragon with a Castus, there's probably an oath. There's probably an oath involved. But
What do we
maybe
need from him?
to let us. Oh God, you've missed a lot. Okay. I forgot you were gone for
Okay.
so long. So, Brisa disappeared for a while. We didn't know where she was. Then she came back. Turns out she was with Sidon's son. So, surprise, Sidon has a son. He was a dick. So, shocker.
Careful, it's her uncle.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's her uncle, man.
It's also her cousin, but whatever. He was a dick.
That's confusing.
Yeah, when the family tree's a circle, it's hard to keep track. So
Wait, is it a circle or is it a straight line? I think it's more of a straight line.
it's like a DNA helix. Anyways,
You know what's best if you think about it? Anyway.
So, Brisa talked to Sidon about us talking to Sidon, and he was like, "Sure, I'll come to the summit. There's just some things that you guys have to do for me, which is have Mitros give tithe to the Gigans, and also Astoria, I think, give tithe to the Gigans, but in return, he'll protect them. He gave Brisa these balls.
What was the word?
And
Reparations, right?
yeah, and if we put them on statues, they'll like basically protect the cities. It'll be like perfect weather and harvest and
Great.
yeah, no, good.
In the hands of the statues.
Well, I don't know if he specified where he had to put the balls. Uh,
Right up under the toga.
and also, he was like, I want you guys to have a festival, but it's kind of like an anti-festival. It's like everyone be happy, but also just really just dog on Estor. Just drag him to the
Like,
ground
Be
about how
happy
bad he
Estor's
is.
dead.
An evil monster. So that's
100%. He was a terrible person. So we were like, yeah, that works. We can totally do that. The issue is all of that stuff is super important to Acastus.
Yeah,
So
like
we had to
Estor's
be
his
like,
grandpappy.
yeah, we had to be like, hey, we're going to do this, but we need you to be on board too, because obviously Acastus is going to be at the summit as well. He's, the king of Mitros. We need the king of Mitros to be involved in Mitros life. And Valis will be there, so I'm sure he'll want to be there. And,
This is all with the caveat of we hope, as far
Okay.
as Acastus.
Ocastus, right? He loves being the king, right? So all we have to do is we have to go into the taverns, right? And we have to tell all the people, we have to whisper about this happening, right? Maybe not us, maybe we disguise ourselves, Lyra, right? And everyone's like, oh, Ocastus is going to be the savior. Oh, thank God he is going to agree with Sidon.
oh,
Go,
well, that's
Ocastus, right? And then he
Yeah.
will have to say, okay, because what he's going to say, no, everyone must die because I don't want to have a festival?
That is
That's great.
sneaky
yeah.
and underhanded, and I love it. That
Yeah,
is
it's
brilliant.
a fair point. We also kind of already thought of something like that. I believe we were going to offer to let Acastus come with us to kill Hexia and then let him claim that he's the one that killed Hexia. As like, Acastus, he's so great. Your idea, also great. I love it as well. We could totally do that. It really depends on what Brissa says when
Was
she gets
Rhodes
back.
okay
It
with
means
that?
we don't have to put up with Acastus's bullscata for 6 days on the Ultros.
Please help.
I don't
He's
think we asked
welcome,
Brodus
please.
if he was okay with us giving Hexia's claim to Acastus. I don't know if we asked him. I don't remember.
He is a bestiary after all.
I'm sure he's cool with it as long as Hexia's dead.
Like he's made a career out of killing animals in front of people and taking glory from it, and he specifically wants this one dead for a personal vendetta.
Right.
This
Yeah.
might have been a bad idea.
Well, we can just ask him when he comes back. No, I could ask him now.
I mean, sure, honestly, if I was in Rhodus' position and someone just kind of showed up in my head and they were like, hey, are you cool with us doing all this? It really puts you on the spot, and I don't know.
Right. We should do it in person.
Yeah. It seems like a team huddle kind of conversation.
Right.
Now that you're back, but Brissa and Rhodus are gone, when earlier Brissa and Rhodus are here, but you were gone.
Well,
Also, we went
I'm
shopping. There were tons of cats. There were cats
There were.
everywhere.
Oh.
Like, who would have thought that a shopkeep who is literally a bird would keep cats as a pet? That just seems like trouble waiting to happen, but there were so many cats.
Right, that's a great point. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, you really don't think about it unless you're also a bird person.
Oh, right.
Kind of puts it in perspective.
Yeah,
But I
that
also
is
love
really
cats, so I guess really could say.
Peas and carrots, really. Seems like. Anyway,
I just like trauma dump on Estrella.
So, I mean,
Oh.
nobody's talked to you. I mean, I just, had a little whole what's it going to be like for Rhodus? But nobody's really asked you. Like, you're part Titan. Like, we've talked about it, but it's more we've talked at you or about you than to you and with you.
That's fair. That's a fair point. We do really just talk about you in the vicinity of you without actually thinking about your input sometimes.
How do you feel about all this? Like, that's why you're picking at your eggs, isn't it?
I mean, how can one feel about betraying their whole family? You know, their whole heritage.
It's just your grandma, aunt.
Then, in so facto, the creators of this like entire land. But you know, it's you know,
The children of the creator of this entire land, but that's a little
Right.
nitpicky.
right. I don't want to betray my family, but I do want to do what's right. So whatever will cause the least bloodshed, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page with that.
If
Like-
it's any consolation, I find myself in a strange position of being a hero of Mitros, having grown up in Arisia, which is Mitros' archenemy. So there's that. You're not the only one who's kind of pulled the two sides of a thing here, but I think yours is a little bit bigger.
Yanni, that's sort of a great point, right? Like, a lot of people are torn in two places over a war that happened a very long time ago. Why can we not just start over?
There's still people, not just like gods and titans, but there's still people that were alive for at least part of it and were involved. Like, what's his name? Oh gosh, my memory's failing me. Aesop. Aesop was around for part of it.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm sure there's others.
God, how old is Aesop?
I mean, he's an elf. They're like, ancient. Or can be.
Yeah.
Maybe we do need to just marry the two. You know? Titan, Godblood, marry them together. And let their children.
You're gonna have to hook up with Rhodus' brother, because Rhodus has already oathed himself into another marriage.
I have a ton of brothers and sisters.
I was about to say, Australia, she's got
Oh,
siblings
okay.
galore,
Okay.
so...
Like,
Okay.
probably
Sorry,
500.
shouldn't have put that all on you. My bad.
No, I mean, it's okay. It's all
I
right.
mean, we did talk about marrying you off for a second, I think. I don't really remember.
Yeah, we haven't really been very good friends, and I'm sorry for my part in that.
I think part of that was Estrella's idea, to be fair.
I mean, I don't know if it was my idea, but I wasn't, like, opposed to it in the way that you were. You know? What you grow up with is what you're used to, you know? So, my family dynamic doesn't seem that strange to me, but to you seems strange.
That's fair. That's fair.
Right.
But yeah, no, I think causing the least bloodshed is the best answer. I mean, out of all of the people that we've had to kill or are going to kill involved in this, it wasn't like cold-blooded murder, you know? Like, we killed Gaius because he killed Kyra, but also because he wanted to be like the general that goes to war and wins wars, and that in turn would be more bloodshed. So like killing one person stopped him from killing a whole bunch of other people, and that's kind of how I see it with Lutheria too. Like, would I rather keep your family member alive? Absolutely. Do I think if we keep her alive that she'll stop sacrificing people and like taking their souls and killing them herself? Absolutely not. So it's like kill one to save hundreds, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Or we all die and then we just don't have to worry about it. So honestly, all options on the table. If you're dead, you don't have to worry about repercussions.
I just really don't want to be dead, though. I mean, I just came out into the world. I don't want to die yet, you know? I told these two Chandras, and he was frankly a little judgy, but I kind of just want to live, like, on the side of a mountain with, like, vegetable garden and goats.
Girl, you know, how much time do we got left? I will take you to where I live. It is literally on the side of a mountain.
Perfect.
Maybe we'll do that after we stop, the war.
Okay.
Or if we
deal.
can squeeze it in. Yeah, I mean, it's not far.
Time is kind of wibbly wobbly, you know? 35 days. How many days is that really? It's easy peasy lemon squeezy.
How do we even measure days? You know?
Right.
If you just never sleep, is it all just one long day?
Mm-hmm. 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 These are the questions, you know?
Lyra's got a shopping high. That's
What
what's going
questions and
on.
answers?
She's on a petting cat high. There were so many cats.
So many
There
allergic
were white
reactions
cats
happening
and
all at
black
once.
cats.
It was cat therapy and retail therapy all mixed into one, and she can't handle it. It's too much good.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Lots of good stuff chewed out here. Would you guys be okay with fast forwarding towards the point? 'Cause it'll be around midday when the dragons do return back to Mitros, so that the dragon riders can of course have some lunch. But yeah, unless you guys want to discuss anything, I guess that would be outside of the purview of the others. All right. With that, the ride back is just as let's just say exciting as it was on the way there for both of you. On the one hand, of course, we had Brissa, who was absolutely just head over heels in love with the experience, whereas Rhodas, you enjoy having seen some of the weaker parts of the dragon's presentation in their armored self, and where the barding protects those weaker spots on the dragon. Put that away into your memory in your deliriously tired state. As you guys get back, as I have promised, this is going to turn into a little bit of a, how to say this properly, skill challenge. As you guys now can take the next few days, including today, to try to convince the populace of Mitros to do, well, exactly what we talked about.
Right.
All right, gang, where do we start?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Well, let's start with as Brissa and Rhodas come back inside. Brissa, I mean, would you like to describe what your face looks like as you walk back in?
I mean, she's just probably smiling from like brim to brim, being like, "I rode a dragon. Rhoda's rode a dragon too, right? Hopefully, cameras don't exist, but she would have totally taken a selfie there for proof. But
Next
you know,
can happen.
yeah.
No, I saw it on your Instagram. It was great.
I posted it there like 20 times.
Instagraph.
The same
Instagraph.
picture, just over and over.
Mm-hmm.
She would have made the ride super bumpy on the way home, right? Like done a few barrel rolls and everything for Rhodas, just to, make sure that you got the full experience.
This is a spiral.
Rhodas is barely holding it together. He's like, "Ugh." Exhausted and like 2 dragon rides deep. Need a drink.
Just quickly, I feel like I would have asked this before. Greater Restoration, would that fix Rhodas?
It would fix
Yes.
one level of exhaustion, but it comes at a price.
Which
Yeah.
is the spell slot and the materials.
And 100 gold. Or, I mean, diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But we did discuss this before. I just want to make sure that I offered.
Right.
It
And we
wasn't just a
do-
complete dick. I didn't offer.
I'm
We do
sleeping
know
about-
that once we leave Mitros, he'll start racking it up again. So it would have to, if we wanted to do that, it would have to be like a daily thing. You would have
Okay,
to do
and
it
did we
every
try
day.
to remove curse? Is this a curse situation?
Oh no, I don't think we did that. I think we just talked about greater restoration.
We did talk about trying to get the boat blessed, similar to how Mitros.
Oh,
was.
like a portable little bless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did talk about that.
Seeing if the gods will give us more god energy to put a bubble around the boat.
Yeah.
We haven't talked to them about it yet, though.
No, it was just an idea we thought of.
Do we know that Lutheria is causing this? Have we figured that out?
That was your best guess so far, yeah.
Right.
From the
I think we
dream.
just assume everything dream related is
Yeah.
here.
Roses,
A little bit.
you don't look so good. How are you feeling?
Definitely had better days. The dragon rides, they're not helping. It's worse when Brissa is the pilot. in control, you know. She's not going easy on me.
Well, you two kind of have like a, back and forth thing that you do.
Do we?
Yeah, little bit. Little bit, yes. If you don't mind, I would like to try something to make you feel better. Do you mind?
Sure.
I'm gonna place my palm like in the center of his chest and attempt to remove curse. So it's almost as if she's trying to draw like negative energy out of him. And maybe it appears as like fate strings kind of like coming out of his chest and like wrapping around her hand. And she just tries to like pull it out of him.
Roll me a D100.
81.
You place your hand upon his chest. The fade strings come. It's almost like a puppeteer trying to draw that stuff out. But there's just nothing. Try as you might, there's nothing out. Then, with Lyra and Brissa, kind of like Brissa standing next to Rhodus, Lyra kind of staying next to you, as you're pulling out, suddenly fade strings seem to kind of float over. You can see if strings seem to kind of try to attach themselves to and Brissa and then die, turning into Estrella, living in this world, has heard of the curses that people can carry. If you rob a grave, you can become a grave robber, and but beyond that, it also means that that person, for example, cannot benefit from food anymore. They eat, but it just turns into ash in their mouth. There are those who break oaths that they make, and as an oath breaker, that is certainly one of the worst ones that you can do. Breaking the oath of hospitality, again, curse after curse. Your world is full of them. There's nothing upon Rhodus, you're certain, as you cast the spell. Curse cast on them. This is something external that certainly affects him, but nothing that he carries within himself. However, as you cast the spell, with an 81, the magic kind of flares out, and you suddenly notice that Lyra and Brissa affected us both.
Oh.
I appreciate you trying.
Sorry. You're very strong, so you'll be okay.
I'm sure I'll be able to sleep through it.
What are we going to do when... She's like trying to like block that out for a moment because she really does care about Rhodus and like his health. What are we going to do when we leave here?
About me? Or at all?
Yes, no, about you.
Well, I expect I'll be able to sleep it off before we head out. I could be wrong, though. We are waiting on Vulcan to return with some items. And I suppose that as long as we're not headed straight for Hexia's lair itself, then I should have enough time, enough days in between, even traveling by the Ultros.
All right. Sorry I couldn't help you.
I appreciate the effort.
Have Lyra or Brissa ever told me about their curse, or do they know about it? I don't think you ever told me about it, but do you know about it?
Kind of.
I
don't think to like a full extent. We know it's there because that's kind of how we got started. But I don't think even Brissa or I know how intense it is.
Would Lyra have seen the fate strings? Like, I don't know if everyone can see them, but would Lyra have seen them?
Seems
like
reasonable, right?
Lyra? Did you see that?
The In Rhodes, the fate strings, yeah.
Yes. Well, I was trying to remove a curse from him. And he's not cursed, but the fate strings were trying to reach out to you and Brisa.
I mean, it's understandable for them to go to me, I guess, but Brisa doesn't really deal with the fates, so I don't know why they would go to her.
I don't know if you want me to try. It didn't work with Rotus, but I could try to remove the curse from you if you are cursed.
I mean, you can try if you want. I don't know if it'll work. It's kind of like a generational curse, really. Been around for a while, so.
Seems like I would need to. Maybe the next time we're at the Fates Islands. Maybe in the water.
Yeah. I mean, the last person we talked to about it to like tell us where we needed to go and what we needed to do told us that we needed to jump into a fiery maw. So I don't know if
Right.
magic will really do a lot at this point. But you're welcome to try. I'm not going to say no to maybe us just getting rid of it instead of having to jump into a fiery maw.
Yeah, she'll hold her hand out first to Brissa because generational curse. This one, let's just warm it up. Warm it up.
I've got generational wealth, and Brissa has a trust fund.
Hey, why does Brissa have a trust fund?
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know much about Brissa's curse, so I don't actually know.
Brissa's curse is she can't help but accept oaths.
Her curse is all the curses she's gonna get when we accidentally break all the oaths she's made.
So this is the word oath, and she's like, I have to agree. That's her curse.
It's for the greater good.
Oh God. Alrighty.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I was just gonna jump into volcano, but sure, we could try this out. Seems a little bit easier.
I'm just curious what the fate strings will do. And I will cast it once again.
Okay.
She's just gonna be saying like, "Please don't eat me, please don't eat me," like under her breath the entire time.
Fate strings don't eat people.
So this goes on Brissa first, right?
Yeah.
You once again raise your hand. Strings come. And as they try to reach into her chest, they suddenly seem to just like curl in on themselves, blacken, and suddenly the energy seems to kind of hypercharge, become weird. And as the strings seem to go all about you, it's almost like there's a hurricane that suddenly swings it all around. As suddenly there is a fiery gate that opens to your left. An oval that starts as a small point and quickly spreads outward. Stepping through the portal are two horns that belong to a closely cropped, pale individual. Leathery wings step through. You can see pure black armor adorn this individual. As this female presenting creature steps through, like a tiefling with massive wings. Her eyes burning look upon you. They're like two pits of blackness that have as irises just these fiery, bright red irises bearing into you. Stop!
I take my hand away.
The magic seems to slowly die, as the fate strings just turn to ash, falling down. You see the searching eyes of this woman look across you. Everyone can make me a history check.
What?
It's Lyra's mom.
Yes, I'm also part demon.
Everyone except for Dear Rhoda is just like
Classic.
desperately looking for a weapon during this. Like, what the fuck? Everyone has heard that if you break an oath, you become affected by the curse that is associated with it. Brissa, you realize you have a curse upon you, and you remember many weeks ago now. It feels like, more than a year.
So long ago.
That little Brissa had traveled all the way to Mitros as her body was slowly starting to become necrotic and wither away. That you had been able to suppress that. But now it occurs to you that the true curse, the underlying curse of what was going on, is not changed. As such, must still be affected by that Estrella spell, whatever she cast, is unable. This is a Thylean curse. Estrella and Lyra, you recognize this as well. However,
Who
you
is this?
have heard of the stories of the fiends of the Nether Sea who force the Thylean curses to prevent those who would go about to break them. Furies hunt you down, drag your soul to the Nether Sea for eternal punishment, trying to circumvent or break a Thylean. But Yanni, dear sweet boy, you have been putting your nose in the Academy books for a long time now. Finally having access to it, you have been reading up on the Nether Sea, certainly. And you go very, very, very still. For you realize there are accounts of Furies. There's also an account for the leader of the Furies. As you look upon Megara, the first of the Furies. She looks at all of you. You can feel your blood go cold. She stares down and goes, "What you are trying to accomplish is forbidden by Thalian law." She looks at you, Estrella, steps forward. See now the upper half are just these hooves. As she steps forward, she's easily 7.5 feet tall, looking imperiously down upon you despite the small frame she seems to have. "Try again, and you will be punished. Are we understood?"
I did not know.
Now you do. And the rest of you. Her gaze kind of looks across and then just lands on Brissa. Understand that the law will be enforced. Kind of considers you for a second, Brissa, almost like she can see each and every oath you've made over your life. And then looks over towards Lyra.
Blinding.
Looks over towards you, Lyra. The two of you are bound together. The two of you will pay for the crime that was committed. Do not attempt to sidestep this responsibility of your blood. He turns around.
Do you know how we're gonna play? Like, is it coin?
Yeah, do you know what we did? Because now I'm confused about what happened.
Just need to know how much I need to save.
Did I break an oath?
There's not enough
Can you?
coin
Is there
in
a
this world
recounting?
to pay for crimes your lines have committed.
Oh yes, okay, that makes more sense. See, I told it's generational. I told you.
The memories of you mortals are so short. As cousins, you should know this. She steps through the portal as it collapses in on itself. And Megara disappears.
Cousins?
This
Is
is just
everybody related in this friggin' world?
Are all
That's
fae
kind of
related?
what I mean. You should not be judgy about people's family relationships because you never know.
obviously distant cousins because I don't eat birdseed, right?
Wow.
He really doesn't like that, Brisa.
Wow.
She knows it comes from a place of love.
Does she?
I
Does
don't
she really?
understand why, but she doesn't like it. I don't know why. Anyway, so you guys don't know how you're related? No clue?
Surely it's like a all fae started out with one ancestor kind of deal. Surely we're not like related.
Yeah, but that would probably be a little impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we all like came from Thylea, right? So maybe like cousins, like in that way.
Yes.
You know, like how people that are super close are like, "You're my brother," or, you know, so it's like that, but like cousins.
Yeah.
I don't know. The curse thing kind of complicates that a little bit, but I don't want to pry, you know?
I mean, we don't really know, right?
Yeah, I'm super confused about that part too. Now I thought it was just a siren thing. I mean, sirens. I'm not trying to put more baggage on the table, but like we got cursed by your aunt grandma like way long ago. So I thought it was just that. I didn't know there was a now Brissa and I are cousins curse.
Wait a minute. You were cursed by Luteria?
Well, okay, so
Drama.
here's some history. Here's some siren history. I don't know how much you guys have studied in school. Sirens have always worshipped Sidon. Like way up there. Like we built towers, we sang songs, we were all about Team Sidon. And for some reason, Lutheria didn't like that. Not that she didn't like that we were worshiping Sidon, but she was like, where's all of my worship when it, like, I'm here too? And so she sunk all of those towers and cities that we had built for Sidon. And then started turning sirens into harpies. In case you didn't know where harpies came from, that also sirens. So I thought it was just that. I thought it was just a Lutheria thing. That's why I don't like her, really. Aside from all the other stuff she's done.
So every one of your kind is cursed?
To my knowledge, yeah.
She really sucks.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, you're still okay with us offing your auntie? I don't know what to call her. I'm gonna make up words.
She sounds like a real bitch. I've never met her, you know?
I guess she's
I can't.
she's actually your auntie, but she's not really your grandma. So we'll just go with auntie, great aunt, whatever.
She doesn't seem to have many redeeming qualities.
No, I mean I haven't seen her face to face. I can tell you, if she wasn't complete batscata crazy, she would be pretty hot. She's got that.
Not
going
to
for
say her one redeeming
But-
quality is that she's hot. I was literally about to say that. She is kind
But
of hot. We've
Yeah,
met her a couple
somebody
times. She's pretty hot.
Generational thing. Yeah.
but she's definitely like too crazy for that to matter.
Mm.
Yeah. She's also got a real cool scythe, and I really want it. And I've said that since we met her the first time, but it's probably not going to happen. It's probably not.
Has she always been a nightmare, you think? Or
I mean, for me, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody else.
I mean, that was like
According to
her
the-
whole domain, right?
According to
Hmm.
the books and stories that I've read, I mean, granted, all written by, people from the settler races and not from the Fey folk, but not like nothing good was said about her anywhere that I read. Nothing.
Well, and Brisa, do you know why you're cursed? Some sort of oath?
Oh, no idea. No, nope.
I'm sure she made oaths before she understood what she was doing and broke them all. Probably.
Well, according to whoever the hell that person was, both of our curses are oath curses. 'Cause
Oh.
she was all like, it's against the law. So
That person, I'm pretty sure that was Megara, the leader of the Furies. And yeah, don't.
What is the connection between oaths and the Nether Sea? Is there an obvious connection there? Like, why are they enforcing?
Yanni, with your 22, I'll say that you know
Yes.
that the Furies reside within the Nether Sea, but are not beholden to Lutheria. In fact, Lutheria would be just as much at the behest of the Furies and oaths as any other mortal on Thylea.
we did know that oaths trump the Titan.
So
So
When
they're
she
just-
came through that portal,
Keep it
did it look like the Nether Sea or did it look like Hades?
It looked like the Nether Sea.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out what we could do in Hades. We got a portal there, we gotta figure out how we can use it.
What? There's gotta be a reason we saw it. There's gotta be a reason. That's what I'm trying to connect right now. Okay. Well, sorry. About that.
I mean, if you want to ask her, you could do it again and ask her. Just kidding.
I mean, now that
So
you met her,
how-
you can probably just, send her a message.
Oh, that were that
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Be like,
I could
hey.
Yeah.
We could send her a daily message to ask her about the oaths.
Yeah,
Probably has inside knowledge.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We could just get a
Yeah.
fun fact every day, like, hey, what can you tell me about Lyra and Brissa's curse now?
We should try it. I mean, it seems like she can come through a portal and kill us at any moment, but
she
you know,
will probably come through a portal and kill us if we do that.
yeah.
if you're gonna
So
start
anyway,
doing
you
this,
rode dragons.
just
That's
just do it
crazy.
when I'm like off somewhere else. That's all I ask. Plausible deniability. That's all I ask for.
So do it right now that she just left, is what you're
Shut
saying.
your pie hole.
How was the dragon ride?
Oh yeah, it was wonderful.
Terrible.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Brodus made an oath, not me. It was good.
You made a
I didn't
note.
take part.
That
in
doesn't
the
sound right.
Yeah,
That doesn't
you
sound
made
right
an
at
oath.
all.
What's
Like I've only seen Rodus make like one oath that wasn't one that we were all involved in. Well, I haven't seen it. I heard about it after the fact. But anyway,
It seems that Castus's support is going to be more difficult to get than we had thought. A simple dragon slaying to his name isn't going to quite suffice for him.
Well,
You
that
like
answers
have
our
another
question.
idea?
Yeah.
you went and talked to him already. Okay, great. That's what I was afraid of.
What if we go?
You
into
know
the
that like
tavern?
Estor was his grandpa, right? And like he's got like ego things going on and stuff, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I knew that.
We all have to admit, sometimes our ancestors were great big dicks, right? Sometimes they were dickheads. My aunt was a dickhead. His great-great-grandfather was a dickhead. Sometimes they were assholes.
I've studied a lot of Siren history. I don't remember a part where they were dicks. Just
Nobody
say
likes
it.
that, Lyra. Nobody likes somebody pointing out that their ancestry is perfect when I am trying to be humble and saying that there were mistakes made, you know?
I know,
Should be a
I'm
team
sorry.
player.
I'm sure there was probably a bad Siren somewhere. It might be me. Maybe I'm the part that fucks up my ancestry. Maybe I'm the blip in my ancestry that causes the downfall.
So what if we, right, go into the taverns, right, and into the public places, and we start whispering, right, that Acastos is going to agree to this agreement with Sidon to save the people. And oh, how great is he? And then how can he say, no, I'm not going to do that. I want you all to die. No, he can't say that. He has to be like, yes, as your king, of course, I'm saving you all.
Yeah, I did
I mean,
this idea. Yeah.
He did already agree to do it, right? But I do say we do that.
He's going to come to the summit and he's going to fight for what he believes is right for his people.
And he's allowing us to hold the festival and to, proposition the people to give tithes to the Gigans. So he has agreed already. But I do say we do that, but we kind of just phrase it differently, that Acastus also wants people to do it, right?
And what was our part of the oath?
I just swore fealty to him, and was just basically we're going to do the festival. Yep, that was all of it.
What about the fealty? What was that?
This is very important. Did you swear this oath for yourself or on behalf of all of us?
I said me and Yanni swear fealty.
Okay, I'm going to be breaking an oath today. It's either going to be the oath of friendship or that one. I'm not sure which.
Well, now that you mention it, here's something that we haven't really talked about. I'm pretty sure our oath of friendship kind of negates the us doing oaths by ourselves thing. I'm pretty sure it's a all or nothing kind of situation.
I don't think so. Not necessarily. We're not going to have to marry what's-her-name along with Rhodas.
Or are we?
We don't really know. We won't find out until we know, I guess.
Do you want me to send her a message for you? Hi, I've been thinking about you a lot. You're so beautiful. I'm so sorry I can't be with you right now. I'm just saving the world, so it's gonna be a bit before I can be there, my love.
Yes, I know I have a sexy voice, but we're not sleeping together. I'm just his friend and cohort.
Yeah. If there's one person I can think of that doesn't want to hear from us still, probably after all this time, it's probably her. She really didn't like us after everything that happened.
That is true.
All right. Just the offer is on the table, You change your mind.
So did you really swear fealty to Cassis? I think we need to clear this up. I think we really need to,
It was more like that. I promised to serve in the Dragonlords, right? So it's kind of like that, right? Wording semantics. But
I thought the plan was for you to be the leader of the Dragonlords. Wasn't that the plan?
I mean, I think it's going to be the plan, right? He's going to be the king. I'll be the leader of it, right? But I'm going to have to serve in that, right? I think the plan is for me to lead it, right? And he would just still be the king, right? And I would be the leader of the Dragonlords type thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
So maybe you should make a speech about the past and how mistakes were made, right? But you will right the wrongs and lead in a new direction with the good for all the people and not just some of the people.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah. I will do that to help convince the people.
There's just thunder so loud.
I saw the flash in the background of your camera.
Oh my god.
That was Sidon. He was like, that's a good idea. Honestly, y'all should do that.
Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, it lit up your background.
Oh my god.
And then Lyra, you can, get Valis to, I know you getting to the front of the line with her, so you can, get to the front and, have her support the festival and stuff like that, as queen, right? That would be really good. Get some, regal support.
All right.
I can try.
Since we're moving into the convincing the people of this part of this discussion, I would like to turn this into a skill challenge just to make it a little bit easier to track and a little bit more, well, let's just say something that you can go ahead and roll initiative for, and then using that initiative so that we can have your ideas be actually taken. Whoops. Sorry for yanking people around. So we kind of know how that goes. So if all of you guys wouldn't mind rolling me initiative, this is just so that we have some structure. Listen, I'm too German for this. We need to have some kind of structure as we go through the skill challenge. Alrighty. Somehow, with as tired as he is,
Classic German.
Rodus goes first. We'll say that Rodus maybe got so tired of all of the jibber jabbering about it, you just kind of take the axe and prop yourself up with it. What do you think Rodus would want to do in order to make this peace summit happen, in terms of trying to get people to give tithes and the anti-celebration, if you want to call it, public denouncement of Estor? How would you want to contribute towards that? How would you want to convince people of that? Or would you?
How much time do I have?
You guys have the next few days. So we kind of like are not going to timey-wimey is a weird place situation.
Can I throw a arena promotion with the proceeds going to the Geigen charity group?
Sure thing. As you try to like essentially negotiate, hey, we're gonna go to the arena. Interestingly enough, the Mount Vulcan, where most of the games are held, the great games, in the massive arena that you guys were in as well. A thing about that is that, you know, currently most of the fights are happening in the city in smaller arenas, but that is where the slave pits are, where minotaurs are paraded out and then they get to fight criminals or, you know, Regent soldiers that might have been caught spying and those kind of things. The great games would definitely draw a lot of attention. However, the thing that you would have to look into is actually, what would you want to fight? How much gold are you willing to spend on to try to, essentially, it's like the investment cost of trying to get tickets sold that way.
What was like our cut of the purse that we determined last game?
I think it's like 4.
It was like 800 gold, I think. We had almost 5,000. So split
Could I
between
take
all of us.
500 gold for a purse and then have fighters like compete for it?
Oh,
Well, what if it
That-
was
that would
like
draw enough
you
people.
charged people to come into a competition, and like the person who won gets to fight you? You know what I mean? Like you charge them like however much gold to enter, and like it's like a tiered thing, and like they get to fight each other until like the best one wins, and they get to fight you. Sounds like a lot of gold.
Seems reasonable.
And Rodus absolutely would want to fight, I'm sure.
I think that I would just want to be a normal contestant and like fight with everyone.
That's-
So like
yeah,
I would
that's-
be fighting in it. We'll get Lyra to be the announcer.
I can hold a crowd. I'm just real bad at it for some reason.
I think I like the idea better of, I guess, like, yeah, charging for entry fees doesn't really make sense.
I mean, it does
Or,
for the
like,
for the
charging for the
spectators.
fighters.
And you guys,
Yeah.
with 500 gold, you guys can do quite a bit of stuff. Like 500 gold, I love somebody did the math on it. Technically, one gold piece is approximately $20 in our world, approximately. So you know you're looking at a not insignificant amount of money there. Like 500 gold can
Yeah,
do
that-
quite a bit. You can buy.
The
some,
idea would be like to attract good enough fighters that like people are going to want to pay an entry fee. Right?
Exactly. And maybe you can even make deals with vendors and stuff like that. It's super short notice, but you might be able to organize something. Let me check something else here. Okay.
We've met quite a few fighters.
Mhm.
There's Spira, right? And she's like the Amazon leader too, isn't she?
No,
or no,
that's
that's a
not
different person. She could come. Brissa's boyfriend, I don't remember his name.
Sigh.
What?
Yes. Yeah, this real hot shirtless monk with a spear.
in a region, though you don't know his whereabouts currently. We'll say this all comes down, you guys are able to organize the certain, the little things. I'm not going to make you guys roleplay through meeting with vendors and meeting with all of the people. You guys pull the strings, you guys talk to the right people, and ultimately we'll have everything come down to Rodis. Go ahead and make me, and here's the thing though, even with 2 more long rests, you'll still have at least 1 level of exhaustion, which means you're going to have disadvantage on that no matter what.
Yep.
Go ahead and make me,
Since this happens over a few days, do we want to spend 100 gold on a diamond to get rid of that level of exhaustion?
I say yes.
Well, we still have some too, don't we? From when we got. We need to keep track of that. I keep forgetting that it exists. But at one point we had like 900 gold worth of diamond dust, and we used some of it to unpetrify people. But we still had some left.
I don't have any diamond anything in my inventory.
I just don't know where it went, and I'm worried it was on Kasaria's sheet, and now it's gone forever.
I'm gonna look at it.
It might have been.
Kasaria. Don't you worry.
We got 1,000, and we unpetrified Yanni. We unpetrified
Not on Kasaria's, just so you know.
Yeah, what's her name? Darian? I can't remember her name. But we unpetrified her mom. We unpetrified her. I think she got petrified at some point. So we should still have 700 diamond gold worth somewhere.
We should just add it to the party loot so we don't forget about it now.
There was a Revivify on Row in there somewhere. That was 300.
Well, that was right.
And
that was a diamond that I went and bought from that jeweler, though.
And
That was
Estrella
different.
did use a diamond when she tried to resurrect you. And with the failed resurrection, you're able to put together that Lutheria very much does have the ability to deny resurrection. She so chooses, and she gets her hand upon your soul fast enough.
Yikes. Well, it's only 100.
I know we've
so
got diamond dust
like-
somewhere. It's floating around here somewhere.
If nothing else, we should use that 100 gold to.
I think it's worth it to not have disadvantage.
Yeah, I'm cool with dipping into
What I
the
was gonna
party funds
say,
for that.
for the actual fight itself, you would obviously be raging. So I would have given you, the rage advantage on obviously the athletics check to do this good. But as you, if you guys want to expend that, that means that instead of a straight roll, it would be an advantage roll. So it would be
I
even
think
better.
we would have wanted Rodis to be at his top self while we get the chance for it. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to just take that off of? By the way, Yanni,
Yeah.
how much gold did you spend at Egalius?
It's already marked off.
It's already been. I don't remember at this point, but we did do all that math.
You
Yeah.
did more than
We're
your
at-
own 800 gold share.
Oh yeah, we're at
Oh, yeah.
3,100.
So how much is okay? So everyone else.
We started at 49. So
Okay, so 3,100 is left. Maybe you guys can divvy it out afterwards. Mark off another 500 gold for the winnings for the whole event, and we'll say the 500 is not just the winnings. The winnings might be something lower, like 250 or something like that, and the other 250 was like reserving the venue, getting town criers to kind of like say, hey, there will be a big event, getting the vendors booked and stuff like that. Yada yada yada.
Cool.
100 gold for Rodis, right?
Only if I win.
Well, to get rid of the.
Oh,
Yeah.
for the exhaustion.
Greater restoration is a
Yes.
100.
So now we're at
gold worth of
2,540 gold left. Just keep that in mind.
Cool.
I'll just keep track of it. I should probably keep track of the loot too, but.
All right, and let me count that off. Stuff. All right. Alrighty. So as you guys spent the time and go into all of this, Rodis, we're kind of skipping around in time with some of these, but the past few days you guys have been doing this stuff. So we'll insert here for now, but towards the end of the day, this is going to be like one of the final events before, hopefully the next day you guys will have the, what is that called, the summit. So Rodis, as you do end up raging, hold Alt as you go ahead and make that athletics check for me.
What kind of who am I up against here? Who's my final opponent?
It's actually going to be Spira. She is a firecracker, as she has been from the first day. I did find her token again, and then of course I clicked away from it.
Is she a literal firecracker, or what is her? Is she like fast or like?
She is both fast and muscular. Like she is absolutely someone to behold.
She's live.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing though. She is kind of along the lines of what Brissa would be, which is kind of like this fast long spear warrior who definitely 100% enjoys getting into long drawn out metra. So someone like you, she would definitely kind of keep you at bay as long as possible and make you tire yourself out so then she can start killing you off that way.
All right. I'm also using this as an opportunity. I'm going to be demoing my new Chimera hide armor.
Ooh.
And for this last battle, I'm going to be using the aspect of the lion, which
Tell
makes
us
me
about
appear
it. What does it do?
like this. It gives Rotus this like long mane down his back, and my teeth become fangs, and basically it makes me look really cool. That's all that matters right now.
As you go
But it does more
super
things.
lion. Listen, that was a big stretch. Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
you're
no,
welcome
I
for
don't
that.
even know what you were trying to go for.
David did. All right.
Here is my athletics check with advantage. 28.
She is a formidable. And in fact, this fight, this is after days and, or not days and days, but hours and hours of fighting going back and forth. Rotus, you were able to smash every competitor, including the Goliath that ended up costing you guys the team win at the Great Games. In the end, it is just you and Spyra as you guys circle each other. You turn into the line. The crowd goes absolutely crazy. She tries to keep you at bay, but you're able to ultimately move around it. Having seen Brissa's spear technique, you do see the faults. When there's not a full phalanx, it becomes very, very hard to keep someone at bay. As you pounce and you smack her head into the dirt, she puts up her hand and is like, "All right, I give up. I give up. I give up. You got me." There's a moment of silence as then the entire crowd goes, "Rotus, Rotus, Rotus!" You can just feel the arena shaking. It's almost like the mountain itself is awake. Excitement. And in that moment, you do feel there's that oratory moment that you guys have prepared Rotus for. You know, Rotus, that right now as the crowd is celebrating you, petals are being thrown into the arena and rained down upon you. This is the moment when you can speak, when you can encourage the others to, and with that I mean Mitros, to contribute towards this cause. What do you say?
I will raise my voice to the crowd and tell them all that the proceeds of the event tonight are going to go to benefit a cause that's long gone unnoticed in Thylea, and that the future without the Oath of Peace is going to continue to be one that we can look upon fondly and not be afraid of.
And then you sacrifice her to Petor, right?
No,
That's what
no,
happens at the end of these, right?
She surrendered.
Alrighty, that is going to give us your guys' first success. Very well.
Hell yeah.
Alrighty, up next we have... Whoops. Brissa. It feels like a combat. This is too much stress. No, just kidding. Brissa. Over the same days as, Rotus ended up going off and showing himself to be surprisingly apt at convincing the other gladiators, bestiary, etc. to partake in this last-minute event. It was not as many people as he would have hoped for, but overall it was still pretty significant. So, as that... Oh, that's interesting. So right now it's following Brissa's screen. I was like, why is it moving around like that? No, that's just Brissa zooming out for a second. Brissa, as you kind of consider for a second, what would you have done in order to raise funds, raise support for this Geigen cause?
I think she was gonna just follow Estrella's suggestion and just go around and tell people that like they should do it to like avoid the war and everything, and let them like pet the dragon too, like, and get donations to like pet the dragon, maybe like do some like kid rides on him and stuff like that, and like oh your child could ride on like it's you can put small things on there, right? So
Put small things out there.
so
All right.
small, right? I think. Yeah, you can-
Okay, how to do this one? I'll tell you what. Because the unique part here is Thylea, and you ultimately have to convince her to do all of this. Make me a animal handling check using your charisma score. So that is going to be just a straight charisma check for you, since you don't have the handling check for that one.
So there's a charisma check. Oh, great! I love my charisma. It's.
Okay.
We have fate inspiration if you want to use
Oh,
it.
I would like
You
to
have
use my
fate
inspiration.
That's true.
Yeah, I will click it and use it. And try again. Alright, that's better.
Much better. Alrighty.
We can't let this not work.
It turns out, and I'm just gonna let you guys know this because it's kind of funny to me, that convincing kids to ride a dragon is extremely easy. Though the parents were super weary of that over the few days. You do become a little bit of talk of town, and it's interesting. Acastus does nothing to actively help you, but the Centurions are also not shutting any of this down. However, during one of these events, as you're having your Kiss the Dragon baby, you do actually see the silvery hide of Icarus circling up above land in the street, and more people kind of come in. As Cassus goes on a long spiel about how, they're, how to put this properly, they're proud to announce that Brissa is now one of the official Dragonlords, and that she's riding and has been training with the rest of the riders for the defense of Mitros. You kind of like, but it seems to have an effect. Full disclosure, the 8 would have actually passed 2, ended up rolling really shitty on the DC for this one, so it's fantastic. But yeah, combined between those two, you're getting the minds and hearts of the Metrosians with that one.
And I would like to use Thylea to set the effigy of Estor on fire too towards the end when we do the
Ooh, very cool.
effigy burning.
I like it. Maybe towards the end of the festival, we'll have Brissa kind of give her spiel about.
Oh my
about
gosh,
Estor.
it's Estor Burning Man.
Oh man! All right, Lyra, what would you have done?
I think I was gonna go talk to Valis and try and get all of them to be on board with this, because we haven't really talked to any of them. We mentioned it to Valis, but we didn't really talk to any of them about it. She went off in a flash before I got the chance to bring it up.
Alrighty.
Someone disappeared.
You approach her, and as you do, what do you say?
Is there a line of people waiting to talk to her?
You have a lot of time, so you. This
I
is
will
like
wait.
someone who overthinks something. You rewrite the same fucking speech 4 different times, crossing out things on parchments, getting a whole new parchment made, all this stuff. You kind of like overthink this, and you end up catching her at the most opportune time that you can figure out, whether that might be in the morning, during lunch hour, after she has spoken to a lot of the petitioners. But you catch her at a good time to talk, so it is you and her solo. Unless, of course, part of your plan is trying to catch her when she's with her. You tell me.
No. I just don't want to get this reputation of cutting in line.
You already have
and-
that. It's accomplished at this point.
No. It
Seven.
only happened twice.
Pattern.
But no, I would wait if there was
Okay.
hearings today.
As you
but yeah,
approach
then
her,
I
she goes,
walk up to her.
"Well, I heard that you somehow were able to convince my husband to not, immediately kick you out of the palace, so very well done on that. I'm guessing you are here for, something specific?" Smile.
Do you wanna go get a drink?
She flicks her hand as suddenly there's just a golden cup that appears in her hand as she starts sipping a little bit of wine.
I hold out my hand.
She just hands you
I
her
can't
cup.
summon wine. Okay. I know a lot has happened since we've been back, but we haven't really had a chance to talk about a lot of stuff. Clearly, if this is gonna work, we need you and Pitor and Vulcan and Kyra to also be willing participants. We don't want to force anyone to be part of this summit. So, I just wanted to talk to you and, see where you're at, what your thoughts are, any concerns or questions you might have.
My thoughts are that Sidon is trying to set you up for failure. My thoughts are that Kyra still cannot approach you. I know that Pitor is going to want to smash your face at this supposed summit. But I also feel that your audacity is to be commended. This is the closest in 500 years that we have come to a lasting, true peace. I don't know if your brazen audacity is going to be rewarded or punished in history. But it will be mentioned. Sure. So what is it that you need from me?
I just want to, make sure you guys are there and see if... you have sway over Mitros. Pitor has a voice in Astoria. We need the people to also be on board with a lot of this. Sidon will clearly be sticking around if this ends in a compromise, and we don't want it to be a hostile atmosphere for either sides. So, if you guys can kind of put your voice out for the summit and peace and a treaty, that would definitely help the situation.
Make me an insight check, and then make me a persuasion check.
Cool, awesome, cool.
You're saying all the right things. You're pretty... You feel pretty confident.
Does my super persuasive voice work on gods, or is it just a straight roll?
It's a straight roll.
I'll take it.
She kind of thinks for a second. I'm going to hold off on my support directly until we've had this summit, if it is to happen. And, most importantly, because two mouths are better than one in this, I will need you to come. So, she kind of hooks her arm into yours. You're ready, right?
Wait, so...
And with that, you suddenly just take off as he takes you down the hallway, and it's just like a blur as you suddenly start feeling yourself take off and fly towards Astoria.
Cool.
I vomit a little, just in my mouth. I swallow it though.
Two vomits.
Can't show
rolls in
weakness.
1
I
second.
can't show weakness.
Alrighty.
She keeps super speeding me, and I'm not used to it.
This counts as a technical success. The best kind of success.
Yeah, I love a success on a technicality.
Yanni. How do you think he would go about trying to affect anything related to the summit? This doesn't necessarily have to be in favor of it. What would Yanni do?
I have been trying to sort that out this whole time. And was like, surely by the time we get to me, I'll have something figured out. And
meanwhile, Marissa's like, yes, I had time to think about it, suckers.
She's like, keep taking your time, man.
Yeah.
I think what I would probably do, first off, at least, is I would probably like spend the whole time leading up to it burying my head in all the books I can get a hold of in the academy, trying to find absolutely anything useful I can on Sidon and on the Five and their track record with, like, or I guess just their history, their like looking for any little nuance I can find that might give us an edge in turning an argument in our favor through either, you know, finding a point to hit on or choosing phrasing carefully or anything of the sort. Anything in the histories or the writings anywhere that could help.
Okay, that is not directly related to making the summit happen, but I do still want to, like, if Yanni prioritizes, okay, if you talkers over there can make the summit happen, I'm gonna bury my head into notes and stuff like that. We can definitely, that just means that we'll take Yanni out of this aspect, if it's fair.
I think that's, I mean, Yanni knows his intellect is his biggest tool, and okay, that I'm all right. And he sorry, perpetual 12-year-old. He yeah, he would probably leave it. I mean, he's not a slouch when it comes to convincing people of things, but he's like, you guys are pretty much all better at that than I am, so you go do your thing, and I'm gonna see what I can do to follow that up with something useful.
He's like prepping for a debate.
Yeah, pretty much.
Something like that.
Alrighty, Estrella, the Fated. What do you do?
Estrella, up until this point, has been sort of the one pushing for this peace, like to sort of like suggest that maybe Sidon would be amenable to this. And so the first thing she's going to do is channel her divinity. So she's going to roll 2 dice and just kind of go into a meditative state. And she's going to contact her mother. And she is going to say, I need your help. I need your help. And she knows that her mother was instrumental in forming the Oath of Peace, and that she cares about both mortals and the Fae races. And so, yeah, she's gonna say, I need your help. I need you to come to Mitros. I need you to be a part of this.
Okay. For this one, I will let you use the prophetic die. For the task of something bigger, like that affects the whole city, it will not work. So go ahead and make me, this is going to be not for a failure or success, but go ahead and make me a persuasion check.
I'm supposed to be good at this. 14.
Did you use your prophetic die though?
I didn't roll that, so it's...
Oh no!
The first one was a nat 20 though, so plus 6.
Oh yeah, the first one's a nat 20, so I'll use that.
As you ask, you You can sense hesitation by how long it takes her to reply, she says. And you can tell even just from the tone she had been crying. Anything for you. Your father, though. He left, and I don't know where he is. I can't find him, and...
Mother.
You cast another spell. That's the one problem with the sentence.
You must stop thinking of this Minos. There are bigger things in the world than your own personal happiness. And I thank you for the gift you gave me. And it meant more to me than you know.
Child, you're too young to understand love, true love. One day I hope that you will. One day I hope that you will find the man or woman that will make you happy. Let's chat more when I'm in Mitros and I... Spell wears off again.
Before that, did we agree on a time when she was gonna be here?
Nope. You know your mother. It's gonna probably take her the better part of the day to just pack for a trip to Mitros.
She is the worst. Okay.
But yeah.
So that was what I did. I want her to come, and I want her to talk to the people as the Oracle, and I want her to convince the people that this is, because she's always been an advocate for both sides. I want her to help us convince people that this is the best way forward. We're not going to win just one way or just the other. It's only if we come together that we're going to be able to all move forward and stop this cycle of war.
Because of clever thinking in this one, yes, it takes her the rest of this day to just pack up. She doesn't arrive until the next day, midday. You're frustrated about that, but in preparation, as Brissa is having her appearances throughout the city, you kind of tag along every once in a while to kind of, your mother would be more interested in going to the same places that Chandra's probably frequents, but you kind of drag her over and have, things. And it's kind of weird though. There's a contingent of maybe 30 Centurions that travels with you guys to keep people away from Versi is certainly, people keep asking her, oh, what about you? Will they fall in love with me? Blah, blah, blah. All this stuff that is just being... You can tell that she's used to it. It's got very good at ignoring it, but with your just feeling knowing your mother, it irks her. As that goes on, I will say that Versi, what she does do is clever enough. She talks about how the prophecy has foreseen you, the light of Thylea, own flesh and blood, to bring this war. Will be instrumental in this. But she never really says yes, we need to make peace. However, she does give a pause, setting the scene, so to speak, for you to step in and say the final thing that hopefully people finally end. So Estrella, what do you say after your mother ends the speech to the people? Or to convince them, give to the cause of the Geigen reputations, and ultimately effigy.
Well, Estrella did not expect that, so she freaks out momentarily.
You will have advantage on the persuasion roll, but Mercy's setting it up, so if that makes you feel better as a player, what do you feel? Don't overthink it. What do you feel Estrella would say to try to rouse, to win the hearts and minds of these people?
There have been horrific wrongs done to you, to your family, to your ancestors. There have been horrific things done to me, my family, and my ancestors. All of us have pain. If we choose one side or the other, it will continue forever. There will never be a winner. Only if we come together. Only if we cast off our differences from the past and say we are all Thylean. Now, by this point, we are all citizens of this land. We all love, have created families here, have built lives here. All of us. That makes us all connected. And that makes us all one. We are all Thylean, are we not? The idea of a winner or a loser now only means that there will be more bloodshed. And none of us want that. If we can all just have open minds and do our part to allow this summit to happen, at least we will know what our options are for the future. And if you trust in these people, and I'll point to the light of Thylea behind me, as much as I do, to do what is best for all of you, then I ask you, we ask you, to please trust us.
Go ahead and give me a persuasion check with. Hold on. Or just click one. That was only.
No!
That was only one die, so one.
Wait, what? Oh, hell. Okay. That was a natural 20. That was my other one. Wait, that's perception. Nope. Lies.
Oh,
Oh,
so
it's
you
worse.
had a nat 8 on that, plus 6, so 14.
That's a 13 and a 9.
Estrella, you give the speech. Perception check on the side also felt see starting to somewhat see some of the settler and some of the starting to separate each other, and these idiotic, more focused idiots start to focus one another. See the centurions push in and kind of start to break up things in between. As Versi turns towards you, it says, "This was never going to show them truly this can happen. Force them. You have love for these people. Show them. Know what is good for them. Maybe you should be strong. It's best for them." As that is just failure.
It's just one. It's just
Come on,
one.
you got this. You gotta get 5 successes before 3 failures. You know, you're well on your track. Before we officially swing back around to Rhodas, though, Brissa, as part of the effigy burning, kind of skip ahead since you already have that 8. Unless Rhodas, you have something else that you kind of wanted to do during that period or something like that you have? Okay.
Nope.
Brissa, as you kind of, you know, have the rest of the Dragonlords at your behest as they get ready for the event and stuff like that, there's a little bit of grumbling in the ranks of burning someone, effigy of someone as famous as Estor himself at the hands of a Dragonlord. However, the effigy is being built. You have this massive, almost like a edifice of Estor being built as that stands on the aura. How do you want to go about it?
Grissom also wants to see if she can convince, like, some, like, Castus, and then also maybe some, like, stone people that, like, after we burn it, we announce that we're going to build a statue, you know, in the place where we burned it, kind of like symbolizing like a rising from the ashes of Estor instead. Or not of Estor, of Castus instead, right? So kind of like, so it's like, Castus like rising from the ashes and being like, reborn in his
Okay.
and like in his place, kind of
Asking
like
a
symbolizing.
Castus, I was going to give you disadvantage on, but because you stroke his ego, I'm gonna say this is going to be back to a straight roll. Stroking a Castus's ego certainly is successful. So, yeah, go ahead and make me that persuasion check.
Oh boy! All right. You son of a gun! All right,
You make your arguments towards saying like, really going to stroke so good about how he will rise out of the ashes and all the faithful will obviously see that, but he just goes, I told you and swore to you that I would not interfere with this, but step on the ashes of my ancestors like a disrespectful. I mean no disrespect, Brisa, but that is too far. That second.
Sounds like a broken oath to me.
Brodus, you have something that you could think of. This could be maybe back in Astoria. I mean, maybe the whole like Valis picking up Lara could also include.
When do I expect that I'll be able to go back to Astoria?
With Valis's super speed, this is very freeform. So whatever's convenient for
No,
you guys
sorry.
to
I mean, like,
probably-
when would be the next time? Like, if I don't go now, like, I don't know.
What do you mean?
Like, if I don't go to Astoria now, when I'm not sure when the next time that I would be able to go
Up
would
to
be.
you guys. I mean, you can always travel to the Mithril Mines, and the Mithril Mines aren't too far away from Astoria.
Is this sort of the last thing we're waiting on before, or is this like the last moment before the summit?
Yes and no, because it's so freeform and I'm putting you guys in initiative order. This is very out of order when all of this happened.
Okay, so this is just another check that we're going to be able to make. Okay, I sorry, I just want to confirm.
Yeah.
I feel like trying to get Peter to make an appearance would be. I mean, the people like him. He's more inspiring than a Castus or Valis for sure.
How do you convince Yo Daddy to give reparations to the people that he, to try to make peace with the god that he hates? Say.
I mean, with the idea that I am just able to go to Astoria relatively quickly with the assistance of Valis and get an audience with him if he's available. I would tell him that there is, the day of the end of the Oath of Peace. Man, that's the second time I've done that. I said Oath of Peace last time too. The Oath of Peace is upon us. It's. I know it's a day you've been waiting for centuries at this point, and you may feel that it's time to pick up the sword again. But it would be better for all of us if we're able to strike some real balance between these two forces to allow Sidon to coexist, to allow the Fey folk to coexist alongside us, and this is the first step for us to be able to do that. With Lutheria on her own, without the assistance of Sidon, she will. I'm sure it will surely be a trivial battle for us.
Peter goes. I wish I would have raised you, because then I could have made sure that my son wasn't such a wimpy little.
And you see Enora kind of step up to him. Just put a hand up on his shoulder.
Thank goodness. Oh man, Rhodas could not have taken that mentally. He would have been like, "Yeah, you're right."
She goes, "He makes a good point, father. For one, if we can forestall an attack upon our cities and prepare further, with you unshackled, we will be able to turn these armies easily. And if we do not speak an oath, and Lutheria's off the board, that means that we can strike at Sidon. Would you be willing to do this, Rhodas? Or have you been a worshipper of the lightning?"
Oh, Rhodas looks really disappointed, and says, I would ever. I'm true to Peter as I have ever been, despite it sometimes being against my best interests. I don't know that I could betray him if I wanted to.
Then you and I will need to go to the noble houses, to the tavern, speak the terrible things that will befall if we do not make a temporary peace, so that we can Peter Sidon once more. You have seen the horrors of the fight. You fought Sidon's forces. Formidable.
They are
Then I
not
want
to be trifled with.
tell those stories. Make the veins of the nobles cold. Start leading to stall this war. Tell our father. Smite once more. Make me an inside check, roll. You can see.
Sorry, wrong
You can
click.
see that love, devotion, and
Oh, that was right.
despite the drunkenness that Peter clearly is exhibiting, Nora absolutely has nothing but respect for the power, and you feel that inside of yours as well. Peter can be nuclear option here, red button to push back Sidon and the menace of to Astoria chooses stage. As you and Enora do end up going through the noble estates, you do glimpse the eye of Corinna as she has been apparently returned to the house, your future wife-to-be.
Rhodas did not consider this on his decision, his choice to come to Astoria. He thought this would be just in and out,
But anyway, as you do go through, it's fascinating. I mean, she is very apt at using fear as a motivating factor. It seems that in this highly militaristic city of Astoria, using fear and the fear of loss and that kind of stuff can be a highly motivating factor for the people in it. And as she helps you with that one, go ahead and make me an intimidation check with advantage. As you kind of tell and recall the stories of things that you guys have gone through. And then one more roll. Natty 19 is pretty damn good already, but...
Oh, I was holding down Alt for that.
Oh, should have been... Tried. Weird.
I'll just click it again.
Okay. And you can tell the noblemen are starting to kind of shift in their seats as they get uncomfortable with the implications of, having a war that is going to be brought to Astoria's steps and losing everything that they have worked or inherited times. And between your descriptions of what Sidon's forces look like and can do, the size of the military force just on the island of Yonder, And obviously the reports that Honora can give of the hundreds, if not thousands, of centaurs that are currently gathering on the steppes just north of Astoria. The people of Astoria are willing.
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay, good. I would also, when I'm going around, I would just specifically like ask people to recall like the encounter with Kyra, and like, you know, everyone has sort of gathered and witnessed that, and like we want to avoid those kinds of things moving forward. Like everyone witnessed the horror of seeing Kyra slain in public like that.
And to bring this all to a close, the final success or failure is going to have to bring back, I think tradition. I think having had such a monumental impact upon the campaign in this very spot, Tyler, Lyra, you're gonna be the last roll that we're gonna do to determine whether you guys are able to get this stuff done. Summit falls apart.
Oh god.
Well, last time we were here, someone died, so.
Oh, David, I think. He froze again, right?
That froze him. That's what
Yep.
did it.
Go ahead though. I should be back. You guys are back. You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right, Lyra, you're now in Astoria, as Valis certainly contributes with some of that stuff. Runs off to Mitros to have more conversations there.
She brought me here to talk to the Astorians, basically, to be the bringer of the news.
Siren, you might call it.
Well, I mean, I can just seduce them all, I guess, if that's what we really want.
Massive Astoria orgy. Perfect.
I talked to Ambrosia. We're gonna open a wing in Astoria of the Siren's Roost. No,
So Rhodus is currently securing the noble support, which is a significant amount
Right.
of coin, but there's nothing that you can, there's a reason why large mob numbers can also accomplish a lot. You're doing the grassroots.
Right. Great. Yeah, I guess I'll go to the center of town, the same place I gave my last speech in Astoria, on the steps of that little precipice, wherever that was.
Mm-hmm.
The town square, I guess. And I'll just say, gosh, I don't even know what to say. I didn't know it was gonna be me. I thought I would die. I'll say, I'll tell the people, think back to when the light of Thylea first came to Astoria and promised that we would do everything we could to keep this oath of peace and to protect Astoria and protect Thylea, and trust that we are still doing that and that this is for the greater good, and we have the utmost care and willingness to fight for them, but without causing unnecessary sacrifice, to make sure everyone can continue living their lives and not have to be under the thumb of the Titans or even under the rule of anyone other than themselves.
But you say that, and you can see a centaur kind of parts the rattle.
But the king of the city is still one of the 5. Once the oath is over, we have seen his drunk escapades. He will just strike any fey folk down. It's not like the unshackled, mad with power. What are you going to be able to do about that? Are you going to threaten Peter the same way that you are threatening Thylea and Sidon? Because it seems pretty one-sided from our side of Thylea.
I'm Faye, am I not?
Are you
If
sure are
Peter,
settler pet?
if Peter wants to attack the Fae, he would have to go through me. And Brissa and Estrella, my companions. I'll protect you as much as I've protected the settlers.
Make me a persuasion check. And these are mere mortals.
Oh, so I do get advantage? 27. All these natural 19s.
You see a frustrated centaur kind of step backwards, but a lot of people are kind of nodding along, seemingly murmuring with support.
Yeah, that's
Seemingly
right.
believing that you will stand up for them, that you will protect them, not just from Sidon and Lutheria, Alice or Vol.
I tell him about the time that I smacked Vulcan.
Boom! Automatic success. You should have just said that.
He smacked me back and it really hurt, but I smacked him first.
As with that, you have your 5th success. Well done. In the final evening, as everyone has returned back, Dros, you see that there are carts and carts and carts full of silver art pieces. You see that there seem to be stuff that you're pretty sure was robbed from pagan cities and temples, that was put anonymously in the temples. It's Sidon's temple size. As you guys walk through these temples, you can see Sidon's forces have kind of taken up defensive perimeters around some both cities to stealing goods. That you have secured the summit to happen. It's the FG, it's lit by Silas' fiery breath in the night sky of the day. Next morning, Sidon, as he chooses to come with him, his entourage for this diplomatic mission, arrive in the arena, mid-games, neutral spot, under mutual protection, the oath of hospitality, so that a peace be negotiated. God damn, y'all. You guys pulled it off.
We just have to pull off the actual summit, though.
That'll be the climax of this roleplay endeavor that we're currently on, which I'm personally. And kudos, absolutely deep kudos have to go to Marissa, aka Estrella, who masterminded the option of like, hey guys, so what if we didn't murder everyone and we actually talked this out? Because we wouldn't be here in the first place if she hadn't proffered that. So.
Show.
All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be calling it here for this week and then pick it back up next week with the summit itself. We may not have Alex next week as he's doing fancy things. Ugh. But there is a chance. We'll keep you guys posted, obviously, but we'll be on no matter what, in order to bring this to a head, to have the conversation between the party and Sidon himself, to see whether you guys can somehow hammer out a peace, a negotiation that will ultimately result in, well, either the inevitable war, that's what it feels like, or a future for Thylea that finally sees peace and reconciliation. Well fucking done. I'm so proud of you guys. This is fucking awesome. This is amazing. When you read through the adventure, oftentimes as a DM, it's like, oh my god, okay, and then they're forced to do X, Y, and Z. But you guys said fuck that and sidestepped that. And that's, honestly speaking, that's... Anyways, that's it for me.
It works.
We'll see. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, tune in next week. I'm super excited to see where this is going. Bye.